that like opening countdown, right, just gets you ready. You know what I mean? Although I wish I had like my own, but we'll get there. We'll get there. You know, humble beginnings. Um, I've been wanting to do this, but I figured like let me give it like a week or two. You know what I mean? Give people the chance to actually watch this movie. Okay, I don't know where you went. There you are. Give people the time to watch this movie before I break it down. Um, but I think it's good enough time. But we're still gonna be graceful.
Oh, I lost sound.
Oh, well, you better find it. But anyways, you already know what it is. If you've been on my channel for about like 2 weeks that it's been up. Movie Mondays is what it is. Here to talk about movies and what other movies should I talk about than the most anticipated one of I want to
Hey, I don't
say
know if you can
3
hear me, my
years
guy.
in
I
running. I
lost
can hear
sound, my
you.
G.
No, I can hear you. I can hear you. I don't know why you can't hear me, but I can hear you. But Movie Mondays, you already know what it is. Um, and like I said, why not talk about the most anticipated film that we've been hyping up about for like the past 3 years, fighting the good fight for those who were there fighting it. Hashtag release the Snyder Cut fandom, my guys, my peoples, man. Met a lot of good people along the way. But we're here. We finally got the film. Um, and this is what we're talking about. Zack Snyder's Justice League on HBO Max. If you haven't seen it, um, go see it. I honestly like if you have not seen this movie, I do not know why you haven't watched this movie, you know. But with that being said, if you haven't watched this movie, like I said, I'm going to be graceful enough to start off with a spoiler-free review of the film, so that hopefully you get some common sense and go watch the movie. You know, whether it's that you don't have HBO Max or go subscribe. Um, I mean, because to be honest, there's a lot of films in HBO Max that are worth the watch, but this is definitely the one. This is definitely the one. Um, so yeah, if you haven't gotten it, go get it, and if you haven't watched it, go watch it. But with that being said, I got my one of my co-hosts for today. I had sent a few invites, and honestly, for anybody who jumps in and wants to like chime in, any of the homies, feel free to message me. Let me know. I'm more than happy to have you on, so we can chop it up. Um, but with that being said, go ahead and introduce yourself first, homie. My homie over here, Rob, Pinpoint Gaming. You know, do your thing, bro.
What is going on, y'all? It's your boy Pin back here with a new one, a fresh one from Pinpoint Gaming and the release of Snyder Cut movement, man. Yo, real talk. Before I get into anything, I want to just say this. My homie Mikey, this dude put me on these guys. All right, let's just get that out the way real quick. This is not. It wasn't even me figuring it out. This man put me on this release of Snyder Cut movement. Well, like 2 years ago, bro,
Yeah.
around there. And then after that, man, I just been hooked on phonics with this movement, and he knows, man. I wasn't a believer of none of this stuff. I was like, bro, they're not gonna listen to the people, Warner Brothers, bro, and they finally listened, bro. So if you guys never seen Justice League Snyder Cut, you gotta watch it, man. You gotta watch it. It's at least a must watch. Are you gonna enjoy it? Some people are gonna love it. Some people are gonna be like, oh, we don't know, iffy about it. You know, everyone's gonna have an opinion, but you gotta at least watch it to have an opinion on it and to fully understand and appreciate the rest of the movies that came from Warner Brothers as well, too. The Aquaman's, Wonder Woman's, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right, right. And I think to that point, more importantly, to even further more appreciate the two films that really actually bring this film, and that's Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when you finally watch this movie, if you ever had an issue with Man of Steel or Batman versus Superman, this completes that vision, right? You know, and that's why, like, you know, Hope Man, that's why I had to bring you on, bro. Like, I'm like, uh, I knew you were one of the, you know, the those that, you know, like you said, you didn't believe it at first. You know, you really weren't the biggest fan until like we finally had discussions on it. And I remember like just giving you perspective on it, and then I think you said you went back and watched the films, and you were like, okay, I see what you're saying. And then even when you saw what the movement was doing, you were like even more hyped. You're like, I actually do want to see the full vision now. Like I want to see exactly what was it that we were supposed to see, because you even said that when you finish BVS, you feel like it's unfinished, you know? And I think everybody knew that and everybody felt that, you know? And I think we were all anticipating Justice League in 2017 to be the continuation of that, and it just didn't click, you know?
That was the
Um,
worst. I'm not
it,
gonna lie, like I'm not gonna cap, like real talk. I wasn't the biggest fan of Batman versus Superman. Like it was a good movie, don't get it wrong. Like I'm a critic. If anyone has issues with movie, like I'll tell you the smallest detail could bother me so much where it could ruin the movie for me. Like when it comes to the editing, the CGI, like if you're gonna if you're gonna sell a movie, come correct. You know what I'm saying? That's all I gotta say. Come correct with it. But I didn't like Batman versus Superman. And I saw the Justice League that Warner Brothers gave us, and I was like, Batman Superman sucks now. Like that movie straight doo doo now because of what that Justice League did to it. It made it even worse.
Mhm.
And it was just like I just don't believe in this
Right.
universe right now. Like I'm over it. Like if they change Superman, they change Superman. If they change everything, so what? It's not going to really mean anything. And then the Snyder Cut was finally released, and I got to watch back Batman versus Superman. And wow, what an epic story that is. And it's still not done. That's the beautiful part. But at least there's more direction. And that's the beautiful thing. There's a direction now, and DC's always been missing directions. We talked about this a long time ago as well, too. DC does amazing on those one-hit wonders, those solo films. But when it comes
Mhm.
to connecting film with film, trash, straight doo-doo. But the Snyder Cut and Zack Snyder's vision really changed the landscape now for DC, and now they have a chance to compete with Marvel if Warner Brothers doesn't drop the ball. But even if they do, someone's gonna pick it up, bro. Like someone's
Yeah, I
gonna pick
mean,
it up.
that's the beauty of it. You know, we were talking about this a few days ago, where you know, if Warner Brothers wants to sleep on this, that's
Mm,
fine. That's on them. You know,
mm.
you watch this film, and it's clear that it's a Max original.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, meaning that's a HBO Max property.
You know what that means, though, right? It's a Zach original, bro. It was all him, bro.
It
That's
was
what that's why I like HBO. They let the
that
directors do whatever they want.
big facts, big facts.
Let them do whatever.
You
Make
know,
me money.
you're right, yeah, and and it's funny because you know, again, you finally get to this film and you finally understand. I mean, here's the thing, like I always, not to say that I had some sort of force sense, but
No, you had the four
watching.
cents. Yeah. I was like, dude, everything he said just came true, bro. He just brought it to existence, bro. Hardcore.
Man, bro, I'm
Hardcore.
telling you, because
Yeah.
the thing is like since Man of Steel, this is the one thing I understood
Mm-hmm.
that Zach was doing different, and at the time I thought it was like a collaborative thing between Zach, Nolan, DC, Warner Brothers, where they I thought they were all on the same page of doing something different
Yeah.
from what DMCU was doing.
Mm.
And I'm not trying to say one is right and one is wrong. What I'm saying is there's enough lanes to
Yeah.
take your own, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Especially when we're talking about uh, uh, industries that are saturated
Mm.
with so much of the same. You know, I I can appreciate diversity,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt that that's exactly what Zach was doing all the way back in Man of Steel.
Yeah.
He was setting his own path with what was known to become the superhero genre
Mm-hmm.
that became the beast that it's now in the film industry.
Mm-hmm.
But he was setting his own lane, making his own path.
Yeah.
And but opposite of Marvel, what he was doing was he was pretty much telling a singular story.
Mm-hmm.
Starting with that one hero that truly, when you look at the DC even comics universe,
Mm-hmm.
he is the pivot of every other superhero
He's the
within that
definition. Yeah.
universe.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, we get to Man of Steel, and this what to me I thought, man, this guy's kind of genius with what he's doing, because he chose Superman
Yeah.
to be the stepping stone, the
Mm-hmm.
cornerstone for everything else he was going to do going forward. And the story was going to be within Superman's world.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yeah.
And so, opposite of Marvel, Marvel was doing singular origins for each of their heroes, and
Mm-hmm.
then we're gonna give you a post-credit scene that lets you know we got this coming along.
Mm-hmm.
Zack Snyder said, "I'm going to do a singular vision, and I'm going to be dropping Easter eggs
Mm-hmm.
throughout my movie to let you know that this is a far more expansive world
Mm-hmm.
than meets the eye." So we start with Man of Steel, and it's like you had the LexCorp trucks
Yeah.
in the background. If you were really paying attention, you had
Mm-hmm.
the Wayne Industries
Yeah.
satellite in the sky, letting you know, wait, there's a Bruce Wayne in this universe.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And without even
Yeah.
introducing him, but it's setting seeds. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so then when you get to BVS,
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's okay, because it's like, well, yeah, you technically introduce this guy
The first one.
without
Yeah.
introducing him,
Mm-hmm.
but then you start that film where you left off
Mm-hmm.
in Man of Steel, and that's the
Yeah.
Battle of Metropolis. It's really so genius,
Mm-hmm.
and then again, the film is it's a like I said, it's really a Superman story.
Yeah.
It's really a Superman story
That's real. All of them.
featuring featuring
All
all
the other
these other
heroes.
characters
Yeah.
that it can exist
Mm-hmm.
in Superman's world,
Yeah.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get now to Zack Snyder's Justice League, it's like, oh,
Now it makes
now
sense.
it all makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
especially for those who were kind of confused.
Yeah.
I already knew. Like I said, I already kind of knew that was where it was going. I'm like, this is where
Mm-hmm.
it's going. This is what he's doing. Um, and like I said, it's not right. There's no right or wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but it was okay to see him do something different, in my opinion, opposite of what Marvel was doing. Oh, okay. Oh, snap. Wait a minute. Okay, I thought I
Oh,
had the homie in here.
oh, okay.
Okay. He said his mic is tweaking. I was gonna bring him in, but
Mm-hmm.
we'll wait on that.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, we get here, and yeah, it just brings the whole vision into fruition.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and bring the homie ET Forever in the house.
Oh.
I don't know if you're.
What's up? What's up?
I love the avatar, man.
B.
Thank you, thank you.
Bro, if you've been listening in, we're here talking about just this universe that Zach started, but we're now getting,
Non-spoiler.
yeah, non-spoiler though, but we're now getting into, yeah, the Zack Snyder's Justice League without spoiling anything, just giving it our overall review.
Mm.
We kind of finished just sharing the thought that this film truly brings in the first two films into more clarity, if anybody was ever confused as to what Zach was trying to do.
Mm.
And it really makes you appreciate more those films, in case you didn't, because you felt they were too singular, or maybe maybe adding on characters that you had there was no sense as to what they were really trying to do, until you get to this film and you're like, oh, this is what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're in Zack Snyder's Justice League, non spoilers, giving it a review. So I don't know if you have any thoughts you want to share right now at the moment.
Man, in my opinion, what I have to say is, for a lot of the people that are complaining about the characters' developments or whatever, Zack Snyder developed the characters in 3 movies than what Marvel did in 5 movies.
Right, right,
Ten
right,
movies, bro.
right.
You know
When
what I'm
when you really think
saying?
about
Yeah,
it,
that's
20
real.
films if you really want to, go that deep.
That's real. And
I
it's not
mean,
even
even
about.
at that, if you really think about it, two of the characters in reality, let's say this: Batman in reality was developed in one in was truly developed in two movies: Batman vs Superman and Justice League. The Flash and Cyborg were really developed just in one movie. Same with Aquaman, if you really think about it. So Zack Snyder in reality did it in such a short amount of time, while Marvel really did it in over, I would say, what, 5 years? I would say five movies. I
Maybe
mean,
More than
more,
that, bro. More.
more
It's
than
been
that. When
at
you
least
because
double that, bro.
at
Like
least
put 10
yeah,
years because you're looking at
10 years.
Iron
Yep.
Man 1, 2, 3, Thor 1, 2, 3, Captain America one, two, three.
Yeah.
Like
True. True.
we're talking about like at least 20 movies to build where they're at now. And the crazy part is, even through everything, like there wasn't no main character in Marvel. It's and that's not how Marvel is anyway. It's not like
mhm,
it's like a whole team effort, oneness, and all that stuff, like working together. There's not like one main. Even though Marvel tried to do that with Captain America and Iron Man, it still wasn't like their movie though, like Zack Snyder did with Superman. Like it was 100% Superman from the beginning. All right,
yeah,
and
Exactly.
unfortunately, it ended that way as well too. For now,
right,
so, yeah.
right. You know, and that's the beauty of it when you're really looking at these films.
Mm.
It's funny because I remember in BVS the main complaint was, oh, how are you going to introduce these characters and not give us their story arcs? And again, you once you get it here, it's like, oh, here's the story arcs.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is what we wanted.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
again, it just
look
brings
at look at Age of Ultron. They introduced Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. There was no storyline for both of them whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Until, I mean, right now, they
right.
give us WandaVision, but still, it's like a couple years too late. You know?
Hmm.
So
No,
that.
yeah, I feel you on that. I mean, and again, I said this earlier. I'm not trying to say one was right and one was wrong. What I'm trying to say is I guess that's exactly what I'm saying. There was no right or wrong. Like Marvel did their thing. Their movies are compressed. Each, I guess the main three got their individual films
Mm.
that they got to build off of them to, I guess, character develop them. Um, but a lot of it's compressed. Then you get the team up movies again compressed. What Zach did and what Warner Brothers should have just let him do was let him
From the jump.
tell from the beginning his story.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he himself said it plenty of times. Like he wanted to do what was done with Lord of the Rings. Give it enough time to tell a very great story. That really give each character their shine, but still revolving around the main character. When you really look at Lord of the Rings, the main character is Frodo. He's the main guy.
Yep.
Frodo.
You know what I'm saying? But then in the midst of following him, you get all these other characters and their story arcs as well. And
Mm-hmm.
it builds them all at the same time, but still following the main one. And in this, what Zach was doing was Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Superman was the one character that really ties in this whole thing, but yet he was taking his time to build each character, starting off with the main two of the Trinity, which is Wonder Woman and Batman. Um, and then he even let then you let Patty Jenkins do her thing with Wonder Woman, which even her, and that's the beauty of it. Like none of his films really forced any of the other directors to like fully follow uh to the T, like his exact vision. All they had to do was connect the piece that he did lay in his film. So for instance, Wonder Woman, the one piece that they, or the, I guess the two pieces that they took from BVS to make Wonder Woman was one, the photo, two, the fact that it was a century ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing that Patty had to do. And then after that, whatever she felt the movie was going to be in Wonder Woman, that's what we got.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then and it's sad to say though, unfortunately, they should have done. It should have been the same way with David Ayer, but now we also know that Warner Brothers, meddled with his movie, and so hashtag release the Ayer cut on that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't know who's trying to FaceTime me right now, but anyways, um, whole point is you know, David Ayer was doing the same thing, and all he did was, all right. Well, what I'm going to do is bring Batman into this universe so that it connects. But now we know that what was also supposed to that was also supposed to connect was the Mother Box and Steppenwolf that was supposed to appear in the Suicide Squad that we
Mm.
didn't get, and Parademons.
Ah, I didn't know
Um,
that. I didn't know Parademons was supposed to
yeah,
be in that
yeah.
too.
Instead of those, I don't even know what to call them. These million-eyed
They
soldiers that we got, we were supposed to actually have parademons that were supposed to be
they were
helping
flies.
Enchantress. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're
Exactly.
just flies. They're just big old flies.
Bunch of big insects. Uh, so, you know, whole point is that happened. Then you get to this film, and it's like now we see that Zach was like building. He gave us a good story arc and backstory to
Mm,
Cyborg,
mm.
to the Flash,
It's
and to
just
Aquaman,
mm,
and all and actually and even more even gave more things to Batman,
way more.
you know, that
Mm.
was supposed to lead to other films again by
Yeah.
other directors.
Hmm.
Ben Affleck, the Batman, the Flash movie that we were supposed to initially get.
Hmm.
Um, and then truthfully, even when you look at Aquaman now, it actually makes more sense and ties even
It
more to
does.
this film
Hmm.
than it did to the Justice League.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and then we also know we were supposed to get a Cyborg film. And then what we also, if we remember and look back, we were even supposed to get a Green Lantern Corps.
I'm glad they didn't as of right now. As
Well,
of
as
right
of right
now.
now, yeah, it
I
wouldn't have
I
made no
I,
sense.
I
But
think in time, like it's gonna hit. It wasn't
well, yeah,
time
no,
though.
and
You
that's
know
what
what
I
I'm saying?
think. Well, but when you look at the timetable, it was supposed to be in time.
Here's the thing.
Warner
They
Brothers just bugged out, bro.
Here's the
Be-
thing. They blew the first Green Lantern movie.
oh, no
They
doubt,
they
no
dropped the
doubt.
ball massively, like massively, to the point where the main character just saw that movie this year for the first time. Like
Hey, but the thing is,
that's
he
that's how you
actually he was like,
know.
it ain't that bad.
He's like, hey, it's not that bad. Well, it wasn't. At the time, the like timing is everything with movies. You could go back and watch a movie that at the time you thought it was trash.
Hey,
You
what's
could
going on,
rewatch it and you're
Igor?
like, oh,
Appreciate you
not too
popping in.
bad, not too bad. So, yeah. But overall, I wanted to say something real quick because I'm short on time right now.
Mhm.
For this free review, I just want to give my rating, man. We're gonna do these professional ratings, not like all these other suckers do, bro. We're gonna do the real ratings, bro. Look, let me just give a quick paragraph and then I'm gonna give you a number. All right,
Do
out of
you
a
think?
hundred, out
Do
of a
you
hundred.
think?
All right, spoiler free. This is a must watch. It is not the best movie that can be made or has ever been made. And I don't want y'all to get it twisted on our excitement and how we speak about this movie. It is not the greatest movie of all time. It really isn't. But it is definitely worth a watch, and you're going to enjoy it so much. So much, especially if you saw the other Justice League. If you like that one,
What's
you're
good,
gonna
Milton?
love this one. You're gonna be obsessed with this one. But overall, man, it's in my must watches. Like the hype is real. A little bit of it's a little bit slow, but we're getting a 4-hour movie to build everything that needed to be built. So the rating for Pinpoint, man, for the Snyder Cut, I'm gonna give it a 8.7, 87 out of 100, or 8.7 out of 10, whichever you guys
I see you,
prefer.
homie. I see you.
It's a solid B plus, solid movie that gives you hope for the future. I just hope there's a future. You know what I'm saying? Like it gives so much. Like DC dropped the ball so much, like
Oh yeah.
a lot.
Following Justice
Like
League is just
even
oh
before
man.
Justice League, though, man. Like time and time they dropped the ball on a lot of things. And with the Justice League movie, like we got to remember, it's not fully on Warner Brothers because a tragedy did happen that changed everything about it. When Zack Snyder's daughter died, the whole movie changed completely. Now, what Warner Brothers did after that, not cool, bro. Kind of a low blow.
It's how they followed up with it.
Yeah, it wasn't
That's really
cool, man.
yeah.
Like it wouldn't be that bad if they would have handled it a different way. Like it would have
Right.
been like, all right, but
Right.
like to completely like use some of his stuff, but not all his stuff, and then switching everything about it, like
And then
he
trying
tr-
to make it and then
yeah,
say it
and
was
then
his
it
too.
was yeah,
That's the
bro.
crazy
I
part.
was like, oh
Plagiarism to the fullest extent.
no,
It's
don't
crazy.
do that to him. So that was messed up. But man, like I think this is what DC needed because let's be real, DC comics are better than Marvel comic books. I
That's
could I'll
that's a
fight
fact.
anybody on that, man. I'll rather have a DC solid storyline that I don't know who's gonna win this fight. I don't know if Batman's gonna win this fight against the Joker on this comic book. You have comic books like that where in Marvel it's like you kind of have a sense of what's going on. There's a couple shockers here, but they bring it back at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? To make the hero win. DC Comics, the hero doesn't always win. So DC Comics did such a great thing. They dropped the ball with the movies, but I think Zack Snyder finally picked it up. This is why I rate it the way I do. And if this movie was a 3 hour movie instead of a 4 hour movie, this rating would have been like a 9.5, 9.6 to keep it G. But he did that 4 hour movie all the way, and that was, I think, for the release of Snyder Cut movement. He
And
gave us the full version, we
yeah,
gotta appreciate that.
right. No, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure, no doubt. I mean, hey, look, I'll say this much. I think everybody is entitled to their own, however you want to rate it. You know what
of
I'm
course.
saying? Rate
Yep.
it how you want to rate it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but this you heard it here yourself from Pinpoint Gaming, his review, spoiler free review at that, his rating, um, and that's his honest rating. So
Mm-hmm.
and that's not so that should, if you like what he said, that should motivate you to watch the film if you haven't watched it. You know, I think he just had to go. But Et, are you still there with us?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool, cool. Yeah, he disconnected. Okay, he's completely off grid now. All right. So no, yeah, man, but I think to his point again, you know, again, that's his rating, that's his honest opinion, and I love it. You know what I'm saying? This is what it's about. Now, do I personally believe it's a great film? I think it comes down to your taste. What is it you're looking for in a film? What is it you want? You know, um, so his rate and his rating is fair. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a bad one either. It's still a great rating for someone who probably has things he was found wrong. But how about you, Et? What would you rate it? What's your review without spoiling before we actually get into the
um,
spoilers?
my review is obviously as a big DC fan and also as a Marvel fan. Comparing this movie to a lot of the Marvel movies that I've watched, I will say that I had a lot more fun watching this movie than I did watching the first Avengers and Avengers Age of Ultron.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm,
no
I
doubt.
personally, and I did have watching Avengers and Age of Ultron. I'm gonna be honest,
mm.
and that's the truth. And if I'm gonna rate it, I honestly I will give it the same thing. 8 point. I will give it 8.7, 8.8. I will put it up there. I will put it above Age of Ultron and Avengers. I honestly I could sit.
100.
I said I already watched the movie I already watched the movies like 4 or 5 times, 4 or 5 times, and it's a
Same
four
here.
hour
Same
movie.
here.
And
Same
I
here.
said to the movie, and I was like, I can't get
Facts.
bored of this movie just
Yeah.
because of how fun the movie is, So,
Mm.
as
Big facts.
my honest review about it, this movie, I
Alfred.
enjoy a
Et.
lot more than I can with this.
Cutting it
Et.
out.
Et. You're cutting in and out. Are you connected to a Wi-Fi by any chance, or
Oh, I might have
like
lost him.
towards the end you were getting cut in and out of what you were saying? Like we heard the beginning, but towards the end,
His
I
mic
think
might
now
have
we
cut.
lost him. Yeah.
His mic might have shut off.
Um.
My bad about
Mhm.
earlier though. I got a phone call. That's why. And then when it comes back, you're mute. I can't hear nothing, so I have to exit out and then rejoin. So my bad about
Big
that,
facts,
man.
big facts. Um, what you gonna call it? No, yeah, for sure. I think at least you got to say what you had to say.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't like, hey, can that go? Like, man, I was right at the halfway point. That sucks when that happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
What
yeah.
What about your review? And after the spoiler free review, I actually got to go after this, but I would like to hear your review, your score, and your overall saying as well too, because this is like your baby right here. You know, this
This
is the
is
birth
right.
of a
No,
child.
exactly.
yeah.
I live for this.
Yeah.
No,
Just look at the background. You don't believe it?
yeah,
Look at the background. All right.
right. If you ain't,
You don't believe it? Look
I
at the
wish there was
background,
more I
bro.
could show, but there's
Yeah.
definitely a lot
That's
more.
just a little piece right there.
Right. Um, no, but yeah, man. I personally, for me, you know, I love this film, dude. I love it. It's 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 Zach's work. You know what I mean? I think I've always told this to you before is that when I watch films, I try not to watch it from what I want out of the movie. I try and watch it from the scope of what does the artist want me to see in this movie. Because as an artist myself, I understand that I have, like I make music, so I have my message and my sound the way I'm trying to deliver it, you know. So the way I've always seen it is like, well, either you like what I give you or you don't. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I'm not here to like please you. You know that this is I'm not that kind of artist. Now I understand there's artists that are in it for the entertainment aspect of the business, and
Mm.
we're here to make money. Blasey blasey. Okay, cool. That's fine. If that's what you do, that's what you do. But as an artist who's not on that, I'm just
Mm.
trying to do my own thing. Um, and like I said, if you vibe with it, you vibe with it, and if not, oh well. So I when I view art or someone else's art, it's the same way. And now, so when it comes to movies, same thing. I try and see what it is that the director wants me to see, without really caring too much about what I want in a movie. So that's how I watch movies. And on that alone, um, I love how he gave us this movie. I love the message. Um, I feel like he's constantly continuing the lessons that began in Man of Steel. And I feel like the main one, if you haven't caught it by now, is sacrifice. It's sacrifice. And not only that, but it's father figures that impact sons' lives and give a lesson. You know what I'm saying? And the main lesson is sacrifice. You know what I mean? You see it in Man of Steel with literally in the beginning, Jor-El, and his mother. So let's not
Mhm.
not to like discredit the mother. Um, but more importantly, like again, like the voices that even in Man of Steel constructs Superman are Jonathan Kent
Mhm.
and Jor-El. And I love how he brought that back in full in this movie, man.
Mhm.
Like, and
It
I don't
was
want to.
beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. It was such a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
But uh, oh, I almost went spoiler alert.
Not
Let me
yet.
not do that. Not yet. But it's the lesson of sacrifice,
Mm.
and how it just continues. You see it with Jor-El, you see it in Jonathan Kent in Man of Steel, you see it also in Thomas Wayne, in BVS, to then you see that Superman takes the lesson that his fathers taught him and sacrifices himself to save the world, and then leading to this film. But I'm not going to say anything else because I'm not going to spoil the movie. But sacrifice. Yes.
How amazing was that introduction to the Snyder Cut? My God.
Oh, dude,
I
dude.
loved it. The CGI and everything, brilliant. But I'm sorry. I just had to say that because you brought it up right there. And I was
Yo,
like,
yeah, no doubt.
that
Yo, Coach,
intro, I
happy
was
hands.
like,
What's up, homie?
oh, so
Oh
beautiful, so
man, no, I
beautiful.
hear you, bro.
Oh, I
And
wish I could say stuff, but it's
we
all
know,
good.
you know what? Like, I'm not. So look, I'm gonna wrap up my overall review without spoiling it. My thing is for me personally, this is me. I'm gonna give it an A. I'm gonna give it an A. I'm gonna give it.
Respectfully.
Matter of fact, I'll give it an A plus,
Mm.
just because of, like you said, movie. This movie is a freaking catapult that launches so many other things that they can do if they have the brains to do it,
Mhm.
you know. But I'm not going to get into what that is because that would be spoiler alerts. So I'm for the spoiler free review, I'm giving it an A plus. Um, you gave it a B plus. Pinpoint.
Mhm.
Et, what are you giving it?
I'll give it an A, bro. I'll give it
Okay,
an A.
so there you go. I mean, off of three guys, for those who are watching right now and haven't watched the movie, A plus, A, B plus. You can't lose if you go watch this movie. It's a must see.
And
Definitely.
I'm saying a B plus, like not just superhero movies. I'm talking about movies overall
Oh, and
altogether.
yeah, and
And
I
let's
can't.
not get that twisted
Let's
either.
not
Like
get that
this
twisted.
is we're not just talking about superhero movies. We're giving this 8.7 compared to every movie that's ever been made. Not just Marvel, not just what DC's made from before, but every movie
Yes,
because
yes,
Zack Snyder deserves nothing less than that.
yes,
But on
yes,
that note, man, thank you guys so much for letting me tune in with y'all. I really appreciate y'all hearing this.
yes.
Send me the link to this so I can hear the rest of it, or even what's it called? If you're gonna make a YouTube video, man, send me the link so I can check it
I
out as well too, my guy.
it's on you. It's this is live right now on YouTube,
Oh,
Facebook, and
perfect.
Twitter. So
Oh, dope, awesome, man. Well, thank
yeah,
you. Hey, appreciate everyone for letting me
let
tune in
everybody
and
know
hear
where
your
they can
boy.
find you, man. Let everybody know where they can find you before you go,
Yo,
bro.
you can find me on YouTube and Twitch. I am a gamer at Pinpoint Gaming. You see my name right underneath my beard. That's exactly how you search it up. Instead of the E, it's a three for game in, baby. So go
Hey,
ahead, give me a subscribe, give me a follow. Make sure y'all turn on those notifications so you don't miss anything from your boy. But Vega, man, I appreciate you, man. Keep working hard, keep grinding, and man, be blessed, my guy.
oh, wait. Don't go nowhere. Just
Who?
answer this quick question. Somebody
All right,
commented if
go
you
ahead.
were to compare it to
Mm,
just superhero movies,
yeah.
what does it get?
All right. If I compare it to superhero movies altogether, this is a top three superhero movie of all time. That's where I'm putting this at. That's
Okay.
real. Like it's a
Okay.
top three movie.
Definitely.
There you go.
Definitely.
Obviously, Dark Knight has to be number one, and nothing's beating that until something beats it. Nothing's touching it. All right. To this day, nothing has touched Dark Knight. I've seen that movie. I think I saw that
um,
movie in the theaters like 7 times,
oh yeah,
bro.
yeah, no doubt.
I have the movie. It was one of the first movies I bought from the military. One of the first movies I bought, like just me, my money, like nobody else's. That was one of the first one classics. So, but this Zack Snyder, man, this is definitely a top three um, of all time, man. I'm gonna put that Dark Knight, and I really like Endgame and Infinity Warfare. I'm gonna put that as one whole movie and just the story and having those emotions in the movie really impacts a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna put that one up there, and then Zack Snyder. It's like I don't know which one. Like it's top three. It could be two, but
Right,
it's definitely
right.
not one. It's definitely not one, but it could be two. It could be three, but it's up there. My A. It's highly recommended. If you like superhero movies, man, you have to watch it, man. Y'all just have to tune in and
There
check
you
it out,
go.
man. If you got HBO Max, it's right there. You ain't even got to go to the theater. Pay your what, $10 a month or something like that. And here, check it out. For those who don't know this, if you have AT&T as your mobile service, HBO Max is free, so there's no excuse not to check
Let
it
them
out for the
know.
AT&T Universe
Let them know.
fans. Family, check out this movie. Release the Snyder Cut. That's done. We already released it. Now, the next movement, not just the air, release the Snyder Universe. Please let it come into fruition and
Yes,
reality
yes,
so
yes.
we can be happy and enjoy this entertainment because this is like the best time for a geek like us, man. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
I'm geeked
Word.
out with all this stuff. But thank you
100.
guys ever. I appreciate you tuning in here as well too. Thank you for having me. Take care though. Thank you
Appreciate
for
you
the
coming on,
plug.
bro.
Appreciate you guys, man.
I bet.
Be blessed, man. Y'all take
You
care.
too,
All
bro.
right, take care,
Later.
bro.
Later, later.
Later, man. So there you have it. You know, it's really that good. It's really that good. You know, I don't blame him for what his ranking is. I'll tell you that much. It is what it is. You know, Batman vs. Or The Dark Knight is a great film. You know, but I want to say,
It
bro,
is.
like
It is.
if this movie would have came out in theaters, I definitely would have seen it more than once, hands down. I definitely would have seen it more than once. I don't care if it's a 4 hour movie, bro. I would have seen it more than once. If like let's say that was the release it got, and it like let's just say 2017 came, and they said, yeah, we're cool with a 4 hour movie being released, or maybe they would have done like a theatrical cut of maybe 3:30. I don't know, but either way, however it goes, however you want to cut it, even if it was that 4 hour length in the theaters, I would have gone to see it, bro. I'm gonna say that more than once. You
Oh,
know,
definitely. I
um,
mean, if people could sit through Avengers Endgame, which was literally like what 3 hours and 20 minutes, man, you could sit through another extra 40 minutes, bro.
no doubt, no doubt. That's the whole point, man. Like, um, you know, and, hey, to each his own, I guess. But I don't, because I know some people are watching it. They're watching it like, you know, bit by bit. Which, to be honest with you, I've done that too. Because
Yeah,
I want to watch it throughout the week while I'm busy. Um, so um,
I mean, you can, and also, SAG has done it possible for you to be able to watch the film by parts, which is amazing. Which is what I love the way that he went with the about the movie. Like watching it through parts. He's got part one, part two, part three, part four, part five, part six. He has part.
oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, that was
Um,
pretty hilarious.
you know, that was E-Man the He-Man, uh, trying to jump in, but
He-Man.
look, man, look for anybody who's watching right now, or going to watch us in the future. After right now, literally, we're about to get into spoilers just to discuss a few things, because it's crucial to what the end discussion is, and pinpoint gaming kind of scratch the surface about restoring the Snyderverse. But in order for us to get into that conversation, we have to now start talking about spoilers alerts. The
Yes,
spoilers of this
sir.
film, and really break down some things. So if you haven't watched the movie, please do yourself the favor, log off now, watch this later once you've watched the movie, and see if you agree with us or not. And if not, comment down below, man. Get down in the comments, let us know how you feel. You know what I'm saying? Um, but spoilers now.
Restore the Snyderverse.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about why Restore the Snyderverse is a thing and why it needs to happen. But the only way we can discuss that is by discussing things that go down in this movie. And how it would be crazy, if they really truly do not continue this. You know, um, and I keep telling people this isn't that. You know, this isn't about canceling everything else they got going on. You know, they're already moving forward with a lot of other projects, but it just makes no sense that you would truly give this movie no attention as if it doesn't deserve it, and what it brings to the table. You know, um, I want to say, like, after watching this movie, there's a few emotions that go through, and it's, the first one is like, what the heck was Warner Brothers thinking? you know, um, how blindsided could they have been? How blindsided are they? And could they have been to, like, really truly not see uh, the beauty of what Zach was doing? You know, um, as I said earlier, taking these superhero characters and these superhero genre in a whole different lane. You know, um, it's nuts to think that they just couldn't see what he was doing, and how foolish they were to drop the ball on this. Um, so with that being said, though, He Man keeps hopping in and hopping out. Um, but with that being said, bro, uh, that opening scene, as Rob said, Pinpoint Gaming, it's amazing. You know, um, it's Zack Snyder. You know, I don't know how did you feel? How did you receive the opening sequence of the movie ET? If you're still there with us, because I'm not so sure. Oh well. Oh no, your mic is muted. Just in case you don't know. Um, but you know, I guess to further elaborate, maybe you're doing something. To further elaborate on it, uh, you know, Zach doing what Zach does again, or at least now by now, if you weren't understanding of what he did in BVS, or not understanding that that's just a thing he does, or that was a thing he was planning on doing, well now you know, Batman versus Superman, as I said, starts you off with the fight in Metropolis, right? And seeing it from Bruce Wayne's perspective, and then to see him do the same thing here, man, like literally starting off. Um, what did you say? Okay, sorry. Um, so literally starting off in the battle, well, in Gotham this time, right between Soups, Wonder Woman, Batman against Doomsday, and taking you back to the sacrifice, right, that
Yeah,
Superman made in the beginning of that film, or I mean, in the end of BVS, But this is how he starts this movie, which again lets you know this is a Superman movie, man. Don't get it twisted. Like I this is his world. Um, so he starts it off just right, you know, and that's with the death and sacrifice of Superman, you know. And when I saw that, man, in slow motion, right, the classic Zack Snyder slow motion, um,
which was
man,
only 10% of the movie for the people that are complaining.
thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. Honestly, it's kind of, it's a bit overwhelming hearing people complain about that because it's like, who cares? It's only 10% of the movie,
Only
and
10% of the movie.
yeah, and it's really and true. And this is why I say, like, and why I said earlier, like, I wish people can understand, like, don't watch a film. I mean, look, you're gonna look for what you want in a movie, sure, um, but I think you sell yourself short, sort of, kind of, because it kind of like closes your mind to things that you could be looking for and looking at, you know for fans of Snyder's work. The reason why he has such a, um I guess, passionate fan base is because they acknowledge his, uh I guess you could say, his trademark, his style, when it comes to him making these movies. And the slow motion shots are what he does, but not just in action sequences, but even in sequences that are supposed to have you think about what is happening, what is taking place, you know,
Yep.
um, kind of like even in real life, it's kind of like, and he's not the only one who's done this, because I know even videographers that do the same thing. It's like they understand that that slow mo sometimes is just to put you in real life, when you're in a moment, that has you either thinking about what's happening, or it's kind of like, even moments that you wish could last longer, so you wish time could just slow down, so that you can enjoy that moment just a bit more. You know what I mean? That's what slow mo is used for as well, not just to make sequences look cool. um, it's also to, like, again, have you think about maybe what the thought is, Because like sometimes you find yourself thinking in life about what's happening, and it's almost like you lose track of time. That's how deep in thought you are. That's what that slow mo represents. It's almost like time does slow down for you, almost for you to like fully grasp
Well,
your
yeah.
surroundings. Another moment, like I said, would be to like bask in the moment of what you're enjoying. Like whether it's time with family and friends. So the slow mo is that. Like maybe just walking down the street. Again, it's just basking in the moment, or uh, in deep thought in the moment. Or in some sequences, if you're actually paying attention, it's to so that you can understand what is happening. Somebody made a complaint about the gun thing, and I'm like, the in the Wonder Woman scene, where like
Oh yeah,
why the
yeah.
slow mo for switching it from semi-automatic to automatic? Why I didn't need that. You didn't need that because maybe you know guns, and maybe you know that the switches on the side of the gun are semi-automatic and automatic, whatever. Not every viewer knows that. So for the person who doesn't know how a gun works or how it operates, slow mo, oh, rapid, non-rapid shot or semi, all of a sudden rapid shots, so that then you understand the shots coming at Wonder Woman are from a fully automatic rifle coming in crazy, and she's you know what I'm saying? It's still dodging every bullet, which in the end of the day is kind of like dope, because it's like the first weapons that you see her like bounce off and reflect prior to this movie, let's just say ignoring Wonder Woman 84, uh, but in Wonder Woman, you know what I mean, the way it was supposed to be released, right? Following Wonder Woman, you see her, dodging, or deflecting, a pistol shot from a gun then in that time,
Yep.
non-automatic. And then when you do see her do the automatic, she does it with the shield, right? So then to get to this movie, and it's like she's this fully automatic assault rifle, it's a big deal. You know what I mean? And then I think even one actually hits her in the back, and you actually hear her grunt about, make a like a grunt at it, but then keeps going like whatever. It ain't really nothing. You know what I mean? Um, but that's what these slow mos do. So in the end of the day, like for those that are complaining about it, stop, just stop. It ain't really that big of a deal. You know, um, maybe you want it just for your action sequences, and hey, that's cool. But like that complaint doesn't make or break the film, in my opinion.
Yeah, it really
Um,
doesn't.
it really doesn't. This whole argument, like if you would have cut the slow mo, the movie would have actually been shorter and probably would have had a theatrical run. Like that's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Now you're just being ridiculous. Um, but anyways, we went on a rant there. That opening sequence, um, it kind of just brought you back to that moment. You know what I mean? Um, and it sets the tone for the rest of the film. I don't know. What were your thoughts when you first saw it?
Well, overall, like with the whole slow mo thing, I didn't have no problem with it. There was a lot of scenes where it was needed because the context of the scenes really, really needed that slow motion. Especially like you said, the whole that Wonder Woman scene, those complaints about that. I I I wouldn't have known where the switch for the to make the gun automatic would be at. Like I would have never known it would be on the side of the gun like that. Like if it wasn't for the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would say the slow motion was very needed, especially with the flash scenes. I would say because like we need to see what the Flash is doing. We need to see what his powers are like, and
Mm-hmm.
for be able to capture the Flash correctly in the movie, that slow motion is very well needed. You
Right.
know, especially where it's the Flash. Like you gotta if you're gonna depict his powers, you gotta do them right, and that's what Snyder did. the slow motion depict that the way he did it, the way he directed the film, the way he depicted even at that every character's powers, the way he depicted every character's powers, he did it right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm gonna be honest. There are some people that are saying that they are complaining about the power scaling when it comes to. Um, there are people who are saying, "Oh, he made Aquaman so weak compared to Superman, and Wonder Woman weak compared to Superman. Like Aquaman isn't that weak. He has some strength. He's at least as strong as powerful as Superman." I'm like, I mean, he
Wow.
has strength in him. You don't get me wrong. He's powerful,
Right.
but it's not that he's up to the level of Superman though. He's not as strong as Superman. Like he really isn't. Like
Nah. Nah.
yeah, he has strength. He's a powerful hero, but he's not as powerful as him. Wonder Woman, I would say she is as powerful as him, but you they also have to think about it this way. What Snyder is doing with the DCU is his own universe, and what he's doing with this universe is that he's evolving it around Superman because Superman is pretty much the key. You feel me? He's the key in this universe. He could either be the destruction or the savior. He's depicted
Right.
as, let's say, he could be depicted as a devil or as an angel, and that's what Snyder's doing with Superman in this. That's why he's ridiculously overpowered. That's why he's so strong. And
Oh yeah.
let's not forget, not only that, people forget that the black suit boosts this. It's a boost to his powers.
Yep.
It's a
Yep.
big boost to his powers, especially when he goes into direct sunlight, which he did in the movie.
Yes.
He literally
Yes.
went up after he got the black suit. He went up to space and literally like put his arms out right in front of he put his arms out into the sun.
Soaks in the
The
skin.
black suit absorbs that and makes him more powerful. So obviously he's gonna outpower all of them. And the reason why they needed Superman was because I mean they could have taken care of him, but they all could have taken care of Steppenwolf. They could have defeated him. But the thing also too is that Steppenwolf's armor is made of something that they really they can't really let's say break. Like
Mm. Mm. Let's get into that. Let's get into
like
that because I don't know if people caught this. I don't know if people caught this, but there's something about Kryptonian and apocalyptic technology that they I don't know how to explain it, but it almost seems like they operate on the same level. And I say that because the only reason um, Silas did what he did with the mother box was because of something that they did with something that was on the Kryptonian ship. I don't know if people caught that. I don't know if you caught that. But there's that.
something to do with the mothership.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Remember when Ryan Choi takes Silas to see? They shoot the something like a piece of the metal of the Kryptonian ship with a certain like uh, 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 um, heat of laser or something like that, like a laser gun or something. I can't remember exactly.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they say how it consumes the heat. It consumes it. And then in the same manner, so did the mother box do with when Silas shot it with the laser thing or whatever it was, like the amount of heat that was coming into it. I don't know if people caught that, you know. And it's almost like if I'm correct, even when it came to the gauntlets that Batman has,
Yep.
there was a joke that Alfred makes about that the material for it was borrowed, you know, um, which either it was or Batman did his thing again, like he did with the kryptonite from and took it from Lex and actually just took it for himself. You know what I mean? So I don't know if people were following that, but then so that's what I'm saying. Like for me, when I put those pieces together, I understood like, wait, there's something about Kryptonian technology and apocalyptic technology, that almost go hand in hand. Um, so, dude, there's all that to say, dude. There's so much more to this movie that could be built on. You know what I mean? Um, like you said, the Flash. Um, look, let's get it out the way. Let's get this out the way because I know this is something that's kind of like going through the ringer on online, and it's kind of funny. I ain't gonna lie because I think even the first time I saw this scene, I was like, I thought of something funny I would do. You know what I mean? Um, but obviously when
¿Qué
uh,
pasó?
what you call it, when Flash
Hola,
goes to
bolsita.
save um what's her face what's her name Iris, right? And the hot dog scene, right? The whole slow mo thing, you know. Sure, I'll be honest. Even I myself was like, this nigga better not take that hot dog. You know what I'm saying? Because that was, but that's that's not obviously what the scene was about, But I think we all thought it, you know what I think. So, and maybe that's why it was even meant to be. I personally think it was meant to be that. It was meant to have you think what you think you were gonna see, but obviously it wasn't that in the long run. Um,
Yeah.
but I will say this about the Flash for anybody who's still complaining about that version of him. Um, I think people have to understand that though Zach was clearly constructing a world, he was obviously building this universe surrounding Superman, right? And actually a multiverse, technically, right? So he was leaving room for like pretty much, hey, if you guys want to do something else, I'm already saying this is a multiverse. But I think what people have to understand is he was still um, containing himself within the fact that he was only going to make a 5 movie story arc, right? So all that to say, to like bring my point home is that he decides to bring a Batman that's the veteran Batman, not a Batman that was starting, right? So he brings in a veteran Batman, which really complements the film and what he was doing. But let's not to dig too deep into that, but you know, you actually see it reflect in this film, right? This is he's been through the ringer already. You know what I mean? Like 20 years in Gotham. The dialogue says it all in BVS, right?
Yep.
Um,
20 years in Gotham.
you know what I mean?
Even the
So
Justice League they mentioned it, no?
yeah, yeah, they bring it back. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it lets you know this Batman's a veteran. He's been doing this for a while. His experience shows it. The fact that he decides to take Doomsday and BVS to fight somewhere isolated shows you that. The fact that he decided to do that with Superman shows you that because unlike Superman, who was still a rookie in Man of Steel, fighting Zod in a populated area, although you can argue that's where Zod chose to fight also, right? Like that's where the fight was. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, Superman probably could have taken him. Let's just go fight in outer space for a moment, or I don't know, let's go fight in the desert where nobody's at. You know what I mean? I'm not so sure Zod would have stayed there, but that I guess that could be argued. But again, you're looking at a rookie who's barely becoming a hero, barely becoming Superman, while Batman, on the other hand, He's been doing this for a minute. So when it's time to go up against Superman, he's like, I'm gonna choose the terms of where we're fighting. It's like in an abandoned place, factories of in Gotham where no one can get hurt within the battle between him and Superman. He does the same thing with Doomsday, brings him right back over there. You know what I'm saying? So that just again shows his experience. But all that to say, he was bringing iterations of these characters, um, knowing he only had 5 films to work with, right? So then what he also does is, I want to play off the whole death of Robin, but it can't be the Robin that everybody thinks, because then that means I would have to introduce two Robins, and I don't have enough film or movies that I'm going to be doing to talk about all these different Robins. So I'm going to make it the one Robin we all know is his first Robin, and that's Dick Grayson, and that's the Robin
Yep.
that Joker kills. You know what I mean? Which even even on, like, if we're gonna, like, I guess talk about how he adapts realism or reality to it, is like, when you really think about it, like, you know that really is a more of a shock factor. Like the first Robin you brought under your belt, the first, Dick Grayson, you're technically, your son in a sense, right? This is the one that Joker takes from you. It's just so much more impactful. It makes much more sense to why Batman goes down the road he goes down, right? Um, and even the dialogue in the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League with Joker and Bruce Wayne, they bring that full circle again. The whole death of Robin, his adopted son, also being someone he lost. Anyways, so that's that, right? So he, instead of giving you the Jason Todd, Robin that Joker kills, he's like, nah, I'm gonna have to do it with the first one because I can only bring the first one, and that's Dick Grayson. Um, Now, all that to say that now when we're here looking at Flash, um, for those that, I guess, and again, this is me just trying to shed light on what it is in case you really have a problem with it, and what it is he's doing is
No,
that,
yeah.
um, again, he's in his own way kind of compressing what he can do. So when we're looking at Flash, really and truly, he's a composite version of Flash. What do you mean, Mike? What are you saying, Vega? What I'm saying is though this is Barry Allen, right? Though this is the Barry Allen Flash, which again makes sense because he's like, I'm gonna do the original Flash, right? The original speedster, or the first speedster, or the one that's technically the main engine of the Speed Force, right? As we know in the comics, right? I'm gonna take that Flash, Barry Allen, right? But when we're looking at the character, like, let's be honest, it's actually more of a Wally West version of Flash, like the one we
Yep.
see in the Justice League animated series. Very quirky, uh, 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 you know, hyper, hypergenic. It's a, it's hard for him to take things serious, but when he does, he means business. You know what I mean? Um, Easily infatuated by beautiful women, right? This is the Wally West Flash that we're looking at character wise, but as far as, I guess, characteristics, I should say, but in the body embodiment of Barry Allen Flash. So it's like, that's why I say it's a composite version of Flash. It's like you got the Barry Allen, but with mixed with Wally West. You know what I mean? I don't know if you can agree with me, but that's how I kind of am interpreting this Flash. Et, are
No,
you still
I
there?
can definitely. Yeah, my bad. It's because the internet is kind of goofy.
Ah, gotcha.
But yeah, no, I can definitely agree with you. I would say though that this Flash, yeah, I would agree. It is Wally West and Barry Allen's body, definitely. The quirky, the goofiness. Just the overall childness. In a man's body. Interpretation of of this Barry Allen. It definitely gives me Wally West vibes. Um, I will also definitely say that this, um, I like this Barry Allen a lot more than the Flash TV show Barry Allen. Uh, Comparing that to the Flash TV show Barry Allen, who's constantly, getting his ass beat by other speedsters, and then has to ask, for everybody else's help all the time. Like, man, you're the fastest speedster alive, but you gotta ask for other non-speedsters to help you out. To me, it's like, come on, man.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
And like Zack Snyder did him justice. Um, besides the Wally West quirky like vibes that he gives me, I also like the fact that Zack Snyder gave him the opportunity of like, man, we're gonna make him save the Justice League. He's gonna be the hero of the day.
Yes.
Superman is not gonna be the hero. Batman is not gonna be the hero. Cyborg is not gonna be the hero. Wonder Woman is not gonna be the hero. The Flash is gonna be the hero of the day. He's gonna save the day, and indeed he did. He saved the day.
Yes. Yes.
If it wasn't for him, oh man, if it wasn't for him, whew, that movie would have that movie would have ended right there and then. Everybody would have been screwed. That
Oh
that would have been
man.
it. That would have been it, man. That would have.
Man, I mean, dude, what was so epic about that scene too is like how he heals himself. Also, like that was like the most beautiful part about that scene is like we see like his powers, like I don't want to say the extent of it, but like we see him do his thing, the speed, and it's like it builds up, right? I don't know about you, but I felt like it kept building up. Like we kept seeing a little bit more and a little bit more and then a little bit more, of
Yep.
what he can do. That when then we get to that point, it's like, um, you see the speed healing happening, right? And it's like, yo, like this dude is speed healing. You know what I mean? To then, um, then to then see him travel or travel back in time, bro. Like one thing right after the other. You know what I mean? Like it couldn't have been any more perfect.
It really could. And like, oh man, and like what I liked about it too is the dialogue. Like he's like what he said, that he had to break that rule and then he has to break it now. Like it shows like he already had a rule, man. Like his rule already was, let's not break this, let's not go past beyond the speed force. That was his number one rule, and like he broke it just to save them, bro. Like he already had rules established of not reversing time, not messing with time. So that means that even before the Snyder, even before this, even before this, he had already messed with time.
Yep.
Which is crazy to me. Like just the dialogue too, and like also just the like the beautiful moment where he's like, make your own past, make your own future. I was like, oh wow,
It's
like
all right now.
uh, it's all right now. I was like, okay, that's beautiful. And then when he's talking about his dad about his dad too, like he's like, Dad, your boy's one of them. He's one of the best. I'm like, okay, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. Like you saved the whole Justice League. You're definitely one of the best. In my opinion, he's the most powerful out of the Justice League right now.
I mean, honestly, I it's kind of hard to argue that when you want to really like considering really power scaling, right? Like who's done what? You know what I mean? Like just on feats alone, his feet no one can top at this moment.
No one can top.
In this universe, you know what I mean? Like no one can top that. No one can top what he did in this movie. It's crazy. But kind of like even just jump on what you're talking about, right? About how he said that he has to break his rule, which implies he's done this before, right? Um, it's kind of funny because when you really think about it, considering how some films, yes, were that we're supposed to follow this, can or yeah, follow this. Either were like events that follow this event, or right, some movies that kind of like even came before it are um are kind of like how do you say things that happen beforehand, right? So all that to say, we all know, and it's been hinted on, right, that the Flash movie was supposed to be the Flashpoint. And I don't know if that was always the case, and I'm almost starting to believe that maybe it was. Um,
Yeah,
but
I start
now
to believe it always was.
here's my thing though. This is what I'm trying to pick at right now at this moment, and that's if he's already done this, would that mean that watching this Flashpoint movie technically means it already happened?
Hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Like, uh, uh, the Flashpoint in a sense, rather than this idea like, oh yeah, the Flashpoint movie is going to allow them to like just what's the word revamp, no, what's the word I forgot what the word they kept saying, or what's the word used, but like that it was supposed to like reshape the DCEU, like allow them to like start from a different point and change things if they want to, blasey blasey, right? But what if that
Yep.
wasn't really the case? What if Flashpoint Paradox is actually something that happens prior to Zack Snyder's Justice League and it already happened? You know what I mean? Or yeah, I don't know, like what, because clearly he already has this understanding that when he does run so fast and goes back in time, things can go bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. I mean,
I mean, could be I
just
could be
to,
looking too deep into it, maybe.
well, I mean, I mean, yeah, it makes sense because just to add to that, like, um, he did, he did show up in the crossover in the DC show. What's it called?
Oh,
Forgot the name,
Crisis on
man.
Infinite Earths.
Where he did meet up with the pretty much the CW's Flash.
Yeah, the
Um,
Crisis on Infinite Earths. That crossover.
yeah,
Yeah.
Crisis on Infinite Earths. Yeah, so it could be that it could have already happened, and that was part of it too. The infinite, the Crisis on Infinite Earths.
You
Um,
know, because then
so like
technically that would
it's
already establish the
crazy.
multiverse. You know what I mean? Because that's what that show kind
Yeah,
of did. It
exactly.
was establishing the idea of the multiverse. So all that to say, like this Flash movie coming up doesn't necessarily have to be what changes everything in the DCEU following this event. It could be something that already happened, which just again just reestablishes the idea that there is a multiverse, and hence why there's all these different DC movies that don't all connect, as well as DC shows that don't all connect. You know, um, because they're within their own respective universes, right? Um, because really, it's kind of hard to see, like like why go through all that trouble to like rearrange everything when you again like here we are, Zack Snyder's Justice League, and it's like we know there's more to be told. You know, I mean, you guys brought in Martian Manhunter, you know what I'm saying, or Zack did, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Um, we got Dark Side. It ends on the note of he's coming with his armada in the old ways, the ways of old, how they used to travel rather than the boom tubes, right? So again, it's like hello, like there's this whole world that's been laid out for you guys. Why would you guys really go out of your way to do a Flashpoint paradox that changes all that rather than maybe this Flashpoint paradox already has happened. And I say that because remember, if you read the storyboards, the Flash movie was already supposed to have happened before Justice League 2 and 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true, true.
So, it could just be that that movie just establishes the multiverse, which gives
And
them
that
just.
that movie's been supposed to be out too by now.
Yeah, no, it was. It really was. It's just, Warner Brothers playing games as they always do, you know? So it is what it is. But I don't know, all that to say that I think that that could just be the case, And honestly, I just feel it makes more sense that way. Um,
Yeah, true.
so, um, but now that's that. I think we can agree though, like now that we're talking about like, um, I guess how expansive this universe really is, right? Um, you know, Cyborg's story arc even alludes to more, you know.
Oh man.
Um,
Whew.
I mean, like, dude, like, uh, knowing, especially once we see and hear again, all this information is kind of like piecing it together with the storyboards. And the only reason I keep doing that is because, like, even though yes, we know there's new storyboards, the reality is this film was also technically part of the storyboards in a sense, right? In a
Yep.
sense, we haven't, we didn't see the Justice League one storyboards, but we kind of can tell that what happens in this film kind of emulates what we know happens in the storyboards, the original storyboards from part 2 and 3. So to me, that tells me Zack didn't change much. He just changed enough for them to have said okay to this version way back then. You know what I mean? So all that to say, the storyboards of Justice League 2 and 3, or 2A as they say, 2 and 2A, are kind of still relevant and still able to like kind of use to dictate how things are supposed to happen and go forward. If they go forward, which again I hope they do. Um, and if Warner Brothers doesn't do it, I'm hoping HBO Max does what they have to do to make it possible for at least for themselves. Like, all right, well, if you're gonna snooze on this
Yeah.
theatrically, well, then we'll release it streaming, streaming wise, and give each one of those films a IMAX release. You know what I mean? Down the line, you know, that's low key what I think can and will happen if Warner Brothers decides to keep being stupid. um,
Yeah, which
right,
which we all know they will continue.
right. After seeing that, what Ant Arnold said, it's not that promising. Mm.
Yeah, true.
But again, whole point is like we see Cyborg story arc in this film. You know, how he at the end he plays back that tape from his father. You know, um, and kind of the things that he was even saying throughout, right? Um, where like you understood like, oh man, this even he was being developed as a character within the film and he was growing. And then to him playing back the tape, and it's like you just understood like, man, there's more from this character we're supposed to see. And then same thing with Aquaman, as I said, like this movie actually launches Aquaman in a better, way better into his movie that we already got than Justice League. Um,
Yep.
you know, to be honest with you, Wonder Woman 84, bro. Uh,
Disappointing.
disappointing, and honestly, I wouldn't even consider it canon to this universe. And I don't think it is. I don't even because I don't even think that was the original plan, in my opinion, because it does mess up the story. in the sense of Diana being away for a century, after the first Wonder Woman film. Um, if there was a more of a movies for her to follow, it should have followed these events, you know.
Yep.
Um, and I think it could have, and I say that because, um, you look at the end sequence where her holding the Artemis arrow, um, it's almost you have to keep in mind of, and this is what people are failing to realize too. Like people are like, whoa, so Apollo just shot an arrow and that was that, and all of a sudden Diana knows whatever, blah. But in my opinion, and maybe I'm wrong, but this is what I caught because they're like that scene was so pointless of how long it was. Hippolyta with her cloak and those other Amazons and them shooting this arrow, right? But correct, maybe you have your own opinion on this, but I personally feel that at that moment, the reason why that is a key moment is because Hippolyta placed an enchantment over the arrow. When she's speaking into the arrow before she launches it, like if she was just speaking it, then yeah, that seems pointless. But what if there was some sort of uh, magic to that? You know what I mean? That what she speaks
Yeah.
to the arrow was actually an enchantment that would have been the message that actually Diana receives. You know what I mean? When encountering the arrow. You know what I mean? I don't know if you have your own thoughts on that, but that's kind of how I perceive that scene. You know?
Um. Dang. For me, for that scene, that's a hard one. I mean, man, you got me with that one, bro. I mean, in my opinion, the way I kind of saw the scene was more like, but like, of course, yeah. Honestly, yeah, she put an enchantment on it. Um, I honestly felt like the enchantment was to be able to, of course, call out to Diana, make sure that she obviously knew what it was about.
hmm
Um,
And this is why I'm saying
ah,
what I'm saying because then she also says at the end, uh, you know, come back to me, Diana.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And then we see that last scene with her holding the arrow, looking into the, I guess, sunset or whatever wherever she was looking towards. But I feel like that's what that was leading to, or what that was saying, at that moment, that scene at the end is kind of like Diana uh, holding that arrow and that message of coming back to her mother uh, was speaking to her, and that's what she was being guided by at that moment, to why she was looking out, was about going back to Themyscira, and all that to
yeah,
say that I feel like I feel like if that wasn't what could have been the second Wonder Woman movie, then for sure I think that's something we would have gotten in the next Justice League film. Because again, this is again also going off of the storyboards. You know, um, where they talked about that.
honestly, oh man, I don't know why Patty Jenkins messed up Wonder Woman 84 so much.
I don't know either, man. I mean, well,
She-
I'm gonna assume it was WB and Jeff Johns and company
Yeah,
that
I will assume it was them
that's what
because
I'm
they
gonna
they seem
assume.
to mess up a lot of good films.
That's just the truth. Somebody had the audacity to say, "Well, Aquaman was a billion." Let's be honest. The only touch of Jeff Johns in that film was adding Black Manta. That's it. Let's not give him credit for the actual movie. That was all James Wan. You know, let's just keep that a buck. And then to top off the fact that Jason Momoa, people would just already uh, wanted more of his Aquaman. You know what I'm saying? That's just what that was. Let's not pretend, you know, like if it was anything more than that Jeff Johns had anything more to do with the success of Aquaman. I'm not gonna give him credit for that. No way. Just because he had a Black Manta, no. Please stop. That it, honestly, that movie would have still been fine without Black Manta. Um, I think fan service wise, yeah, I think it was kind of cool to see Black Manta. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest with you, the costume is dope. They did a good job with that costume. I'll give them that. You know, and Black Manta is one of Aquaman's also arch nemesis. You know, so it was cool. It was cool to see. You know, so like that is dope to see. But like I said, I'm not gonna give any more credit than that. Like the film itself, the actual story plot, the story arc, which was somewhat touched on in Zack Snyder's Justice League, was your brother is, you know, causing trouble. You know, and they kept like reflecting that. You know what I mean? When we went back to Prince Orm to get more troops, but he said that, you know what I'm saying? Like it was already letting you know, like, yo, this King Orm is just a bad king for Atlantis, and Arthur Curry needs to go back and claim the throne that's rightfully his. You know what I mean? So it was building up to what we see in Aquaman, anyways, and that's the actual story plot of Aquaman. Um,
Yeah.
you know, so um, uh, all that to say, like, I feel like, yeah, when we look at Wonder Woman 84 and other movies like it that Jeff Johns touched, um, just to be real, like he's a good comic book writer, but that's where the buck stops. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it.
Yeah.
You know, that's
That's
where the buck
honestly it.
stops.
Like he could have done a lot more better.
Like, you know where he belongs, truthfully, if they feel like um, they wanna, you know where he belongs, really and truly, where he probably would have fit in better in the MCU. You know, where
True, true. Because there's a lot of his stories do deserve out to be in the MCU. Because I mean, bro,
well,
a
I'm
lot of
saying,
stories have a lot of like one-liners. You know, like
look,
heroes don't lose in the stories. You know what I'm saying?
and the reason I'm saying what I'm saying, it's not even to knock his comic book writing. It's because the MCU goes more the route of doing comic book stories for their movies. You know what I mean? And so if that's what Jeff Johns wanted, was like, I want my stories to be told on the screen, then that's where you belong. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? They're going back to the comic book storylines and putting it on the film. You're really not getting anything new, you know, other than the fact that it's like, oh, it's the first time that we've seen this on the big screen, you know, but it's not really a new story, overall story. It's the same story you got in the comic, just with minor changes that make it a bit different. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean when I say if that's really what he wanted, then you belong in Marvel, bro. Like if that's what you really want, you know what I'm saying? If you want your comic book stories to be told on the big screen, that's where you belong, you know. Um, and yeah, that's my opinion, you know, because I feel like that's what he does. Like he tries to get his comic book way of telling stories on film, and
Yeah.
and like I said, that works well over for Marvel because that's kind of how they go about their business.
Yeah. True.
Clearly, it didn't work well with DC when we're looking at films like Birds of Prey. Uh, you know,
Hey, in my opinion, Birds of Prey was a fun movie.
it's a fun movie, but I'll be honest, I haven't rewatched it since I seen it in theater. You know what I mean? Um, but it is a fun movie. It was a fun movie when I watched it. I enjoyed it as a film, but definitely not something I've watched again after that. To be honest, um, just because to me there's no rewatch value. Um, there's no essence to the film that makes me feel like there's something greater to be had. Because the one thing that they could have had greater to be had, or actually the two things that they could have had to be greater to be had, they shot themselves in the foot with. and that's you killed off Black Mask and you had no Joker.
Yeah.
You know,
Not only
um,
that, I will say this one thing, one complaint. Black Mask was kind of a joke.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
As fun
From
as
the
the movie
action,
was, which I had a lot of fun with it, Black Mask
yeah,
was a joke.
it was a joke. He's not the Black Mask we know. You know, to be honest, you know, was it again? Yes, it was fun to watch, sure, but that's it. That's it. You know, you that's not really the Black Mask we know. There was the Joker that you guys. Matter of fact, the movie was such a joke they didn't even have Joker in there,
Yeah.
and then Cassandra Cain is like just the worst. You know, considering who Cassandra Cain really is. You know what I mean? Um, and then to be honest with you, it's like you are trying to depict Harley as a hero. Like, why? You know, like I'm like, bro, like it's just silly, bro. Like I don't know who's running things
I
in
mean,
DC Comics. I don't know who thinks that switching up her story arc to have her go from a freaking grade A villain, like she's a great villain, bro. Like she really is. To thinking that
what I would see, what I would say about that, bro. What I see with Harley, it's not that they try to make her into a hero. In my opinion, I feel like they're trying to make her kind of like into an anti-hero. You know, like because
well,
in reality, in a lot of comic storylines, she does become an anti-hero. Like especially after she breaks up with the Joker and shit, like she does come to realization like damn, like maybe
oh
what I
no,
am
no
doing is
doubt.
kind of crazy, you know?
No, look, here's the thing. No doubt. That's not my. That's actually that's my point. I'm trying to make, bro. Is that in this film, it doesn't emulate that, in my opinion. You know, it's like that's. I'm sure that was the direction they were trying to go,
Yeah, yeah.
but it didn't go that way. They really made her more of a hero than an anti-hero. And I
Yeah, I
say
mean,
that
yeah, the show did it better, to be honest.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah, the cartoon series, yeah, no, no doubt. You know what I'm saying? And again, like you said, there's plenty of other story like even in Injustice, that happens. You know what I mean? Um, but again, it's like she doesn't lose so much of her true essence that she becomes like this super good person, like like not killing, no, like she'll still kill, and that's what makes an anti-hero an anti-hero. You know, it's like you're doing what's good but you're still going about it a bad way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what makes an anti-hero an anti-hero. You know, um, that's what makes the Suicide Squad the Suicide Squad. You know what I mean? It's like they're doing something good, but they're going about it a bad way. But because that's exactly why they're brought on board to do it, is because they'll do the things that technically the Justice League won't do. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't cross those lines. These guys can because they're actually villains. You know what I mean? So that's an anti-hero. You know what I mean? And they didn't do that with her in this film. You know, like in that movie. Um, so aha, okay. I think E-Man, He-Man's ready to jump on. I think.
He-Man,
So.
I got the power!
By the power of the Grace Call.
He's like, yeah.
Don't make fun of me, man. Don't make
Yeah.
fun of me. You know
Hey
that's a great
man.
man.
So we're right now knocking Birds of Prey. No,
Yeah,
we're,
I was backstage
we're
hearing you
crapping
guys.
on the movie.
yeah, man. I mean, look,
Yeah, really, that's really what y'all doing.
it's like I said, it was a fun movie to watch the first time, but that was it. It doesn't hold that much weight to it after that, you know. Not really, truly, not considering
And
especially.
then one in a word.
And that's the crazy part. Well, and here's the thing, like I want to say what it won an award for, like the picture, right? It's picture like visuals or something like that. Is that what it won an award for?
I don't even know, to be honest.
Because if that was the case, I'm fine with that. Like again, I'm not
First that
I'm not even trying to completely
one.
shut down the movie. I feel like visually it was kind of cool to see.
it
Um,
was
uh,
cool.
it was almost like watching the cartoon in live
The
action.
choreography was
You
on
know.
point.
Um, so
On
it
punto.
was dope to its own extent, but like I said, it was fun to watch. It was fun to watch for that very reason. But like all these other reasons I just gave you are the reason why I will not watch it again because it's not really Cassandra Cain. Harley Quinn never really puts the Birds of Prey together. That's not a real thing. Um, it would have made more sense for her to put together the Gotham City Sirens.
That
Um,
that would have been the dopest movie ever. Gotham City Siren. Come on,
you know what I
man.
mean? So again, uh, the
Poison
great
Ivy, bro.
the great point about all this is like what I'm trying to get at is thankfully they are introducing this whole multiverse thing because it's like Birds of Prey can be its own thing. It's in its own universe. So could Wonder Woman 84. Actually, I hope they don't even try and say that that connects to Zack Snyder's Justice League. That's its own thing, bro. That was the point I'm trying to make. Is like when you really look at the only film that I kind of hope does connect, and just because they kind of like insinuated that it did, but I hope that they're able to like not have Jeff Johns part of it going forward. Um, is is Shazam. And I say that because
Oh yeah.
that movie, though it at the end, I always say this, the third act truly wasn't the best for me. Um, I wanted more Shazam, but I get that it was his origin film too, but still, I could have done more Shazam at the end. The battle could have been something more epic, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, rather than what we got. It was definitely very kid friendly, in my opinion,
Yeah,
which is, I guess, fine because it's Shazam, but at the same time, it's like, it's kind of, it feels like an oxymoron when you consider that the comics with Shazam are actually kind of adult also. They're so that's the part that doesn't make sense to me when they're trying to make these kid friendly films because it's like the comics themselves are not really that kid friendly. So what are you trying to do here? Like, what
No,
are you
they're
getting at?
very dark.
You know what I
like,
mean?
yeah,
So
like what are you trying to sell?
yeah, what are you trying to sell here? Like, it makes no sense. You know what I mean? Even
They're trying to be Marvel. They're
e-
trying.
even the animated series, like I even now I watch them and I'm like, man, like some of the jokes are not kid jokes. They're like jokes that only an adult would understand. You know what I mean? Um, so like even their cartoons have content that's not kid friendly. So it's kind of like, what were you guys trying to sell here? But anyways, all to say that the only reason why I do hope Shazam kind of does connect is because they kind of insinuated that it did. With the whole Superman
Superman.
showing at the end, the batarang that is the same batarang that we have Batfleck throwing around, the Aquaman shirt he's wearing. I've said this plenty of times before. Like, if they really wanted to connect it, this can technically come after the Dark Side thing. If it's something that they don't want to incorporate into Zach's universe, and all to say again that the Flashpoint paradox or the Flashpoint movie doesn't have to be that what fixes the Zack Snyder verse. No, it could just be something that already happened that introduces the multiverse. But all that to say that if they really want to, they can technically say that the Shazam story arc and what they plan on doing with Black Adam, because of what he keeps saying, he's here to change the hierarchy of the DCEU, whatever, blasey blasey. But he's also stated many times that he wants to face the Justice League, even though we all know that in this movie of his, he's actually going to face the Justice Society, right? Or yeah, no, right? Justice Society, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, Justice Society of America.
Right. So why, if you know that that's what you're getting in the film, why do you keep like saying that you want to face the Justice League? So I feel like if there's any way they could go about it is like Shazam follows that same universe that Zack Snyder started after maybe Justice League Part Three. You know what I mean? Because in the end of the day, all this to go back to the idea that when you really get to the end of this film, it's like Darkseid said he was coming. You know, and you know what though? Look, actually, to be fair, I'm wrong. I honestly, it doesn't have to come after the third part of Justice League if they are smart enough to continue it. Technically, Black Adam could be a hero or a villain that they face before Darkseid comes with his armada. But then it would be kind of weird to not have Shazam in the Justice League movies following. You know what I mean? Um, unless Zach's cool with bringing him into the fold, but I don't even know how far that goes. I would hope he'd be cool with it, but at the same time, I don't know because, like I said, Zachary Levi did play himself in that one interview. Um, but I feel like this Justice League movie really hints on it really builds cornerstones for their characters to build more movies out of. You know, uh,
Yep.
you know, definitely the Flash movie can build off of what's he mean that he's done this before, and this is the one rule he's gonna have to break. He's gonna have to break it this time. You know, um, what is that insinuating? Boom, Flashpoint movie, right? Cyborg learning more about his powers, and the speech he gets from his father at the end, and him figuring out more of what he can do. Boom, Cyborg movie. Um, Deathstroke meeting up with Luther. His name is Bruce
Finding
Wayne.
out.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, finding out Batman's
Boom,
name.
Batfleck movie. Um, they can Wonder Woman holding the arrow, insinuating she wants to go back home. Boom, Wonder Woman movie. Um, and then Superman being back. If they really want to do another Superman movie, sure, if they can, if they want to. But we all know, and I'm going to say this again, that don't get it twisted. Though from Man of Steel we get Batman versus Superman, and then from Batman versus Superman we get Justice League. Don't get it twisted. These movies are still Superman's movies, and this world is his world. You know what I mean? That's why the story plot is about bringing him back, because his death following Batman versus Superman, it impacted the world, and it impacted even more so Bruce Wayne to realizing like they needed him, right? But it's like it gives you so much time before they get to that it allows you to like kind of like it builds these other characters, right? Um, and then finally when they realize like, yo, we could bring Superman back, and it's like then that's when Flash says what he says, like, I know we're all thinking it, but I'm not gonna say it. you know.
Yeah.
But because this is a Superman movie, really, technically, like they, Superman cannot not exist in this universe. He needs to exist, you know, because this is his universe. This is his world that they're all living in. You know what I mean? So that's why, like, it's funny because the the implication is, and I know we said it earlier, like technically maybe the team could have taken on Steppenwolf, maybe, but the implication is definitely that without Superman, there's a void that needs to be filled, you know? And when they found a way to that, oh wait, there's a possibility that we can bring this guy back, you know, why not take it, you know? So this is Superman's world, all that to say, this is Superman's world. Um, and and whether we get another Superman solo film or if like his story just continues through the Justice League story arc, it would have been fine for me personally. But anyways, cornerstones. Continuing off the cornerstones. Although I will say this too, and this is what I mean. Like either it could have continued with the Justice League story arc, or maybe they could have dived into solo films of him more, because again, that whole tie-in of Kryptonian technology and apocalyptic technology, kind of like being similar, was one thing. But now to also dive onto the next cornerstone, the New Gods movie that could have technically been given also, because the questions of how did how did Darkseid forget where Earth was, or where the anti-life equation was? What is it that Steppenwolf did that made him lose trust with Darkseid? Um,
Yeah.
uh, this technically spider slash Starro looking technology, right? That he had, that Steppenwolf had on hand. You know what I mean? Uh, Ryan Choi being in this, uh, for those who don't know, the Atom, right? So
Yeah.
there's many things that cornerstones. I keep calling them cornerstones because Zach gives you just enough that he gives other directors, or WB for that matter, was giving them the opportunity to build upon these cornerstones. But like I said, it's not forcing them to do exactly the movies he wants to do for these characters, but it's just I'm giving you a pivot point, a stepping stone to step on, or a cornerstone to build around, and you build the house however you want to build the house, however you want to make your movie for that character. But this cornerstone is what lets you build off of it, so that it technically still all does connect to this universe, you know. And that's what Zack Snyder was doing, which brings us to the point of, well, restore the Snyderverse, right?
Yo.
Restore definitely. Now to, oh man, restore the Snyderverse.
I'm just
We need
thinking
that
though,
Man of
like,
Steel 2. We need Justice League 2 and 3. Matter of fact, we need that. We need a whole movie on that nightmare scene of that nightmare sequence that we got in the end of Justice League.
Exactly,
man,
exactly, exactly.
I mean,
Um,
can we talk about the fact that even Martian Manhunter came out? Like,
oh yeah, yeah. Well, how did I forget that?
Oh,
And
you
then
ain't even
Martian
lying.
Manhunter at the end, right?
I'm
Exactly.
sorry, like this say spoiler alert earlier, so
No, yeah, no, no. We're still in the spoiler alert. We're in spoiler territory. We are in spoiler
uh
territory. I will hope nobody's
yeah,
watching thinking there's no spoilers.
so yeah, like they introduced him heavily, like they had no intention of not using him. He was in there. So yeah, like how for me, like man, there's so many possibilities and so many movies that need to come out like tomorrow, and I'll watch them all. I'll like I won't sleep. I'll just live in this world of Zack Snyder. No, but no, hey, no, this guy has a genius mind, man. That movie was. I mean, like I should say those all the parts, dude. Like I'm gonna lie. I'm not. I'm gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I, it was crazy. I had to pause like a couple times just to go back to my kids, and take care of them. I'm like, oh man, but like I definitely was like, all right, settle down, go do something, go play with your toys. I went back to the movie, dude. Yeah, and the fact that they introduced one of my other favorite characters, Martian Manhunter. Yeah, like I need to know like ASAP from every actor. are they are they are they committed? Are they doing this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Are y'all gonna put in the work?
Right,
Because
right. I mean,
because
yeah,
talking about restoring it, like we need to make sure it's there.
right. No, for sure, no doubt. I mean, um,
Because yeah,
dude, there's
Jason,
just so much.
between Jason Momoa, you know what I mean? Like he's that Aquaman, bro. Like I don't know. I mean, I think it's one of my favorites too. I mean, it's just funny because you kind of see Aquaman being, a different skin complexion and in the comics and stuff, but being Jason Momoa is just I don't know. It's just you kind of accept it right away. Like I don't know, it just fits it.
It does. I don't even know. It's like it's kind of it makes sense though. Really, like
No, no, it
when you
does, and it really
consider
does.
like
Like
yeah, yeah, I feel like the reason why it made sense, and here's the funny part for those who don't know, like, and honestly, like if you haven't gone out of your way to like look at the extras under the film, like when you look it up on HBO Max, there's like a bunch of like obviously like the trailers and the
Right.
clips of the heroes. But at the very end of the list, or at least that's how it is on mine, there's like a 25-minute long special like interview, so to speak, of Zach working, like Zach and the Zack Snyder's Justice League, and he even has like some of the cast talking and stuff. It's almost like probably what you would have gotten in the Justice League film, I guess, maybe. But whole point is like uh there's a part where it actually tells us that Jason Momoa actually went into he actually went to audition for Batman. That's the crazy part.
What?
He went into audition for Batman.
What?
Like that's the role he wanted to get. You know, like that he thought he could
I
get. I
mean,
should well,
body
so should I say.
wise, he does fit the suit, you know.
No, yeah, he does. He does. Like that's the initial thing he went in for. So, but Zach said that when he saw him, he's like, I got to get this guy on film, and who better than Aquaman? Like he saw him as the Aquaman. So this is the thing. Like when you really look at who Zach chose for these characters, and then why he chose them. Like I said, if you watch this interview thing, it's kind of telling. It's actually very informative. Kind of cool to see like where Zach's mind was at, where his heart is at. Even the actors themselves, the cast and stuff. And it gives you even more knowledge as to why he built this universe the way he built it. For anyone who's like wondering why, why the way he went about it,
You
and there's
know,
honestly like
actually,
countless interviews where he like kind of breaks it down, but this one was kind of good in a sense. Like it's not too long of an interview, and it gives you enough information.
and it's on the HBO Max, you said?
Yeah, it's in the HBO Max. Like if in the extras, like so
Right,
like
right.
yeah, and you click on the film, go to the extras, and it's gonna be there. It's like Zack Snyder making Zack Snyder's Justice League. That's what it's called, I think. And
Yes.
it's like I said, very informative. As to like why he built this universe the way he built it, his mindset going in, yeah, like information of like the comics that influenced him to make these films, where he went to school, how he's been filming since he was, like doing films since technically since he was 10 years old. Like that's where it all starts for him, like the passion for this, and this is why, like I say again, like when I watch his films and I watch these films, and when I watch any film really, I never really try and watch it from my perspective of what I want. I try and watch it from the perspective of what is it that the director wants me to see, you know. And I feel like when you do that with his films, you get so much more out of his movies because he is the type to deliver so much in his movies, not just in the like from the lessons you get in the films, from the style of cinematography to the Easter eggs he's constantly dropping, whether they're direct, connection to the movie and what he's talking about, or whether they're just like references to other things that he's geeked about. Like you learn in that interview that there's in the BVS is technically a reference to Star Wars. You know, um, there's a reference to like artists that he likes and stuff. So this is what I'm saying. Like when you watch Zack Snyder's films long enough and you're watching it from that lens, you like really appreciate more what he does with his films because it's like he really goes deep into it. Um,
Wow.
but
Subliminal.
right, right. But to go back to the Aquaman thing, yeah, like Jason Momoa embodies him, like, and not obviously, like you said, not obviously like a direct look, but more so like I feel like in heart and mind and spirit, like he embodies the character of Aquaman, and even like I feel like it's because of who he is, even outside of the camera, like just who Jason Momoa is, like, he has that Pacific Islander background, where you could tell he has some sort of sense of a connection to that maybe their, I guess, lack of better terms, their spirituality, and kind of the things they believe in, where they do have that's what I'm looking for, like you know lore that surrounds like coming from the sea, I guess you could say gods of the sea in a sense, like that they worship and stuff, or that they believe in, like not necessarily worship, but that I don't know, they have their own way of doing things, that's for sure. But you kind of see him carry that, and I feel like that also like is embodied into this whole Atlantean lore that he's adapted into. Um, it's dope what they've done with that character. Honestly, in my opinion, like,
Hey,
um,
Yeah,
dude,
definitely.
you know,
I'm looking at your Flash poster, and like he looks like he's running up the Flash.
I did
Uh,
that purposely. I did that
I
purposely
could,
'cause
I was
technically,
just,
it's supposed to be Flash so you could read it, but it's like this because, like you said, it looks like he's running so fast. He can run up the walls like how we see him do, right?
yeah, like this is hilarious.
Yeah. Um. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
where'd he go? No black.
Where are you?
like, like somehow the poster like just disappears. What's going on?
Oh man. But so yeah, restore the Snyderverse. And for those who
Yo,
again don't understand what that means, it's like what we're trying to say is there's so much in this film to build off of, and or even so much in this film that connect to films that we've already gotten. Um, that it's like why can't you just restore that? And again, we're not telling you to stop with your what else if you want to continue whatever else you're doing, go ahead, do it. It is a multiverse. You guys said that plenty of times, but this movie just has so much it could build on. And I feel like one of the things that I,
can you guys hear my
I
cat?
yeah,
My cat's
um,
meowing in the back. Jesus.
she's agreeing with us. One of the things I feel this movie also did a good job of like connecting to, and I don't know if anybody else caught this, but I know I for sure did. But if you know anything about Suicide Squad, then this is definitely a topic to discuss of something that would also help restore the Snyderverse, and that's releasing the air cut. Um, it couldn't have been any more clear to me watching how these mother boxes work. What David Ayer was talking about when he said that he wanted to have the Enchantress uh, using the mother box, which I would assume would be the mother box of men, which still would still make sense considering as to how Star Labs had it, right? Um, but even when you look at how the mother box goes into your mind, right, and or it's able to play with your weaknesses, right, in your mind, and how it did pretty much with Cyborg at the end, what technically Enchantress did with the Squad. But something tells me the initial thing was supposed to be that Enchantress was going to use the powers of the Mother Box to make that happen, to work off the weaknesses of the Squad, to give them what they want. I feel like that was originally what David Ayer was trying to do there. The same way that he stated, he originally wanted the parademons to be her soldiers because technically it was going to be Enchantress working with Steppenwolf in some sort of manner. To what extent I'm not sure. We still won't know till we actually get this version of Suicide Squad that David Ayer is talking about. You know,
Yo,
um,
for real,
no,
like there's so much that needs to be restored.
straight up, straight up. Um, you know, uh, and more of that Joker too. Like maybe that Joker will actually kind of make more sense to even what we're seeing here in Zack Snyder's Justice League of a Joker.
Oh,
You
dude, I
know,
gotta admit, at the end, I was still expecting Joker to say what he said in the trailer, bro. That tweaked me out.
yo, no lie, that tweaked me out too. For a second, I'm like, wait, why is he not saying what he said?
Yeah,
Like,
like.
where's the we live in the society line?
Where's where's the we live in a society where
Yeah,
Zack,
I'm expecting like a
HBO Max is
second.
messing up. HBO.
That was funny. I was like, whoa. I'm like, all right.
Hey, I love all the shit talking that he did though. He was like,
No, that's
That
that.
was,
Oh,
yeah, that was
perfect,
awesome.
perfect, perfect. It was just
And
perfect.
honestly, you know what? Jared Leto, please keep it up like this. Don't go changing.
don't do what you did before.
Don't do what you did before. Don't go back to him. Just stay where
Don't
you're
do
at.
all the tattoos and the grills. You know, don't try to do gang banging Joker.
No,
They
Yeah,
no,
you
no.
know, here's
You
the
know, it
thing.
could have worked.
It could have
I,
worked. I think it
could have
could have.
worked, but
I just
but
he
it was
added too
like
much characteristics to like one person. Like he was a gangster, yeah, he was like psychotic, yeah, he was like a
he was
mob.
like and he was
Like
in love.
yeah, he was yeah, like it was
Like
too
Joker's
much.
well,
never in love with Harley, bro.
I think
Like never.
it came out that that wasn't Ayer's original idea either. That was something he had to change. That they made him change.
Because of
So,
yeah,
but
Warner Brothers. Obviously, they always mess things up.
Because I even saw like
Why you
a
doing
still
this, brothers?
right the former brothers as I've seen. Um, I saw a screenshot today of a shot that actually shows Joker smacking Harley Quinn in the one scene where the
that
truck driver
sounds like Joker too.
behind them. You know, like
It does.
you remember that scene when like Harley's
Yeah,
driving her the bike next to him, pulls him over, whatever, all that crap, and then the truck driver's behind, beeping the horn, and then he comes off, and then she shoots him.
yeah,
So there's a screenshot that just came out that shows Joker smacking her, following that scene where the truck driver is on the floor dead already, and it like I said, it shows Joker giving her the backhand.
that's crazy. What the
So
hell?
that is more accurate to like we said the relationship between Joker and Harley. Um, so with that being said, release the air cut. Like I feel like that movie that we keep hearing about connects more to this film rather than what we got. You know, and why not do it when it's already again it's another film that's somewhat complete already, and I think even more complete. I think than what the Snyder cut was. You know, and if you were willing to put money into the Snyder cut, considering that it still had a lot more work to be done, why not do this with the air cut? That's less work to be done, you know. Um, so that's one of those movies that connect, that would also restore the Snyderverse. And with that being said, make the Batfleck movie as well. Um,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We
Deathstroke
need that Batfleck
knowing
movie.
that Bruce
I
Wayne
need to see
is Batman.
what I need to see that Robin that died. I need to see all I you know
I
because I
definitely
think
need to see that.
I feel like that movie would have connected that as well as to why Joker is in the asylum, you know, um, to why we see him, how we see him in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Um, yeah, I think Ben Affleck was going to do something with that character a lot more down the lines of what we wanted to see, you know. Um,
yeah, like he was about to show like like something else, like something like from I feel like different perspective. I guess
I mean, again, Warner Brothers was just doing too much meddling. They needed to stop doing the meddling. They should have let these directors do what they were going to do.
the
Um,
jobs, bro. They knew
yeah,
what
let
they're
them do their
doing.
jobs. They knew what they were doing. They actually found a way to connect the universe, and Zach was doing it so subtle. Like again, it's not like he was forcing these directors to do exactly what he wanted. It was more so like these are the stepping stones you could use, and then do your movies. Um, because honestly, when you first watch Suicide Squad, and if you're a fan of David Ayer's work, it doesn't feel like a David Ayer movie. You know, it was a fun movie. It was a good movie. Nonetheless, I guess it shows because it was still well received in a sense. Although for those who just knew, like, man, this isn't really Joker. This is, and not even enough of him to like even make an impact. The fact that they killed Diablo, like that wasn't even supposed to happen. Um, you
Mm.
know, again, Enchantress was supposed to be working with, Steppenwolf in some sort of manner. She was supposed to have the mother box. She was supposed to have parademons.
I don't even know
Um,
the idea.
but all that to be said, that if you also know David Ayer's style, that movie did not match it. It just didn't. When you watch movies like Fury, Training Day, Bright, you know what I mean? it's like, yeah, David Ayer has a style and a way of telling gritty stories, um, and we didn't really get that in this film, you know. Um, but all that to be said, release the Air Cut, but then all that to be said again, also make the Batfleck movie because I think all that was gonna connect. I really feel like all that was supposed to connect. If this WB would have said like, all right, David Ayer, do your thing, whatever. Zack Snyder's doing his thing. uh, Patty Jenkins gonna do her thing, I guess, and James Wan do your thing, Ben do your thing. As long as you guys find the way to make it all connect and make it all work. And I think they were figuring that out and they had it. They were all like kind of like just again working off the cornerstones that Zach had already put in his movies from, Man of Steel to BVS and the ones that we're gonna follow even, again, this Justice League we just saw. um, and it would have all worked. I really think it would have all worked. And but it's just stupid.
It's stupid, man. It breaks my heart.
It broke my heart. You know.
Why the
And that's
brothers
the
gotta do this?
they did is bogus, bro. They did is bogus. That's just the
They did us
truth.
dirty.
But all that to say that there's so many cornerstones to many other movies that they could do, and that's what Restore the Snyderverse is. It's like there's more to be told from just the Justice League part alone, right? But then there's also these other films that they could have done and that they could do, and that they were supposed to do, that they can technically still do. You know, I hope that they have some common sense further down the line and say, you know, all right, we'll let you use Green Lantern, John Stewart, um, because that's what he wanted to
Oh,
do initially.
I mean, yeah, true. That is what he wanted to do initially,
That
and
is what he
Warner
wanted to do.
Brothers said nope.
And that's actually how we got Martian Manhunter. You know,
Yep.
as to because he was like, well, if you're not gonna give me Green Lantern, then you have to let me get Martian Manhunter, because he wanted both for sure.
He
But
did.
they were kind of iffy about the Martian Manhunter one because that's not what we want. They said whatever. And then when he asked about the Green Lantern, they're like, no. They couldn't let him do John Stewart Green Lantern.
Because
And
they're
then
trying to
that's
do it themselves, man.
yeah,
That's, you
bunch
know
of
what I'm
idiots.
saying? You guys know what I'm about to say.
Yep, yep. So,
Man,
but then that's when he was like, though, then you have to at least give me Martian Manhunter. Let me do Martian Manhunter then. Which, I'm glad because it's like, it's kind of like, when you think about it, it's like, why hasn't Martian Manhunter gotten his, like, a movie? You know what I mean? Considering he is a
right,
prominent character within the league,
right.
and even in DC Comics. Um, but yeah, man, that this is what Restore the Snyderverse is, and that's why it's like, wake the hell up, Warner Brothers. And if not you guys, then hey, give it to get let HBO Max do their thing. Let HBO Max do their thing, or at least hopefully that's what they want to do. Hopefully they can see. I don't know if you guys seen the numbers behind this film, but this movie was a success for HBO Max. This movie was a
You
success
know,
for HBO Max.
I gotta say though, like for real though, like the CGI moments, they weren't that bad.
They were great. They were great. It's not that they weren't that bad. They were actually good.
Yeah,
You know.
I can tell you, like it wasn't like forced. I don't know how to explain it. It felt like dude. It felt like it was all there. It all. It was a good job. It was a great job. So if
Hmm.
HBO doesn't realize that they're I feel like I don't think they need Warner Bros. To be honest, in my opinion.
They really don't. They
I
really
think
don't.
HBO could take this themselves and really sell it out.
Yeah. No. Yeah. For sure.
I,
Um.
I just feel like the studios is already like capable. Like I'm telling you, like that CGI was really like good.
No, it was. It really was. It was good. It was good. And HBO can do it on their own. Um. The success, honestly, I hope rings true to them, and they realize like, yo, we could do this. Um. I'm not so sure what has like what, because I know that the DC comic characters, I guess, do belong to Warner Brothers. I'm assuming. But I just feel like, well, if Warner Media is the boss over them, though, and so is AT&T, shouldn't they have the final say? You know.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that works. I know, like, I know there's my guys. They they kind of break that down. I know Prime, on his channel, he kind of breaks that down, and so does my homie Sil, um, which are other channels you can watch on YouTube. Sil Abdul Inc. Prime. What's Prime's channel? I forget what it's called. It's like Prime, some number there, but whole point is they do a good job of like breaking down the business aspect of what's happening, who's in charge, who calls the shots. I know that they mentioned to me that it doesn't matter if Warner Brothers um, picks us up or not. It really, if we want to restore the Snyderverse, the two people we really need to get the attention of is Jason Kilar, who's in charge of Warner Media, and John Stanky, who I believe is in charge of AT&T, I believe. So as long as they're the ones aware of the big success of this movie for the streaming platform that they own, which is HBO Max, then if they want to continue it, I feel like that's where it's going to continue from, because
So
it's clear
everyone,
Warner Brothers is being stupid.
everyone, hit them up right now. Bug
Yes,
them.
yes,
Hit
no,
up.
yeah, yeah.
Do not hit their lines. Do not let them. Do not sleep on them, and don't let them sleep. So
These are the numbers for those who want to know and don't know. Um, so far, from what's been calculated, is that 2.2 million U.S. households and 954,000 UK households watched the Justice League Snyder Cut between the weekend of 318 and 324.
hey,
That's a
Davino,
ridiculous. Yeah.
I thought you were gonna give me the numbers to the to the
Oh,
guys. I was ready to.
the
Yeah, I
numbers
was
to
like, I
Mark
was ready to message them right
Ruffalo.
now. I was ready to
Ah,
message
that's
them and
hilarious. That is
tell them
hilarious.
some words. No, but hey, that is nuts. That is wow.
Yeah,
But and then
they're making
also
money.
there was another one that I saw that I think it was like 64%, I think, more subscriptions to their platform because of this film. Um,
Wow. Wow.
exactly.
So
So
HBO, get the belt right now.
they
If
got it.
this was uh if this was a Money in the Bank, you need to get that ladder right now.
Dude, no, for sure. It's this movie's a clear success for them. So if they have any sense, this is what they'll do. They'll do that, and say, hey, if Warner Brothers ain't gonna do it, we'll definitely do it. You know, so and like you said, E-Man, He-Man, uh, um,
I've got
HBO,
the
HBO can do it, and they can do it. They got the
they,
power.
they got the power.
Oh man. But
Telling you.
look, guys, again, if you have not watched Zack Snyder's Justice League and you've been watching this whole time, I don't know why you were listening to the spoilers. Um, but it's definitely a must watch. If you're just jumping on and whatever, it's a must watch. Um, I do that, like, just like UET. I've already watched it at least 5 or 6 times. Um,
Oh, I'm about to
Yeah,
get on my bench as well.
so
I
it's
watched it too many times now. I'm playing.
it's
It's
it's that
never
easy.
enough.
It's never enough. It's never enough. It is because you watch it and it's like you want more. You want more.
Yeah, true.
It's like what happens next. You know what I'm saying? Like um, it's got
Oh yeah.
rewatch value. It's got rewatch value. Earlier, it was me, Et, and Pinpoint Gaming. We gave it our grade. I gave it an A+. Et gave it an A. Um, uh, Pinpoint gave it a B+, and he said that was judging it as an overall film, not even just like um, superhero stuff. Just as an overall film, that's how high it ranks for him. But that as a superhero film alone, it's definitely in his top three. But since you are on here with us, E Man, He Man, how about you give us your rating or grade as to what you think you would grade the film?
Okay. I'm sorry. If you hear my cat meowing, I'm just giving you a warning. I had to let my cat in the room. It wasn't. I don't know. I wasn't satisfied with the outside world. Wants to be with its owner. I don't know. Anyways, for me, I'll give it. I'll give it an A plus because you know what? Like just like you said, the rewatch value, like it's there. Like just like there's just so many few movies I could tell you that I rewatch, or that I could tell you that maybe in the future I will rewatch. This is one of those
Right.
movies I'll tell you that any moment in time, I know in life I'm gonna be like, yeah, let's watch this. you know,
Hmm.
it's not.
Yep.
It's not. I don't think it's ever gonna be collecting dust until like maybe I'm reached my age. but but no, I give it an A plus. Um, I actually thought there was a
Right.
funny part for me that I didn't think really sounded like Batman, but I thought it was. I just accepted it anyways. But it was when he tells Alfred, "Faith, I'm writing on faith, Alfred." It was just the
Mm.
way he said it sounded too jolly for me, but it wasn't.
I'll tell
It
you
didn't.
what. I'll tell you what. And you know what? I knew some people were gonna, because yeah, it did. It almost seems off considering how he has came up. The approach with him personally. Like, let's just say outside of like what we do know about Batman, just to kind of touch that, I do feel like that's accurate to where he's at in that story. You know what I mean? In just
Yeah,
that story
no,
alone.
that's why it didn't catch me really off guard because really it's just the way the scene is going already. Like you kind of just feel like it's just you, you gotta ride by faith at that point now. Like it's really leading. That's how it's making. Or I feel like in the movie that's how it makes you feel. Like okay, yeah, you know what, like okay, like
Right.
I understand.
I mean, and then I feel like again, I don't want to sound too looking too deep into this, but at the same time, like I can't help but to do it because of my faith, you know. But I've said it before. Superman is very got that messianic thing about him, right? Where he comes off as almost like a Jesus Christ character,
Oh, I'm
right?
sorry, guys. I'm gonna mute myself for a second.
Yeah, no, no, you're fine, you're fine. Um, right, but and then so like it's crazy because like it's like all right, boom, we get to this point in this film now, right, where we get the resurrection of this savior, right? And so to hear Batman say what he's saying, like, oh, he'll come, it's faith, faith offered, right? But it's not the only time he mentions the whole thing about faith because he mentions that earlier too. Um, so it's almost like I said, when you're watching, when you're following this story alone, it actually makes sense to why he said what he said and why he's at where he's at because you're talking about a man that for 20 years, you know, everything was about the logic and the reason that to when he finally faces Superman, that's still what was kind of driving him until finally, you know, it switches for him, right? And now he's on
Right.
his same side, like right there on the same side facing off Doomsday. But then this guy does what the Savior would do, and that's he sacrifices himself to save the world, right? That's
True.
what the Savior does, right? That if you know anything about the Jesus Christ, right? That's the whole thing, right? He was
The Bible.
crucified, right? He was crucified for the world, right? To save the world. That's his whole thing. But then not only did he die for the world, but then he also resurrects for it, and that's what we get, in this film is like we get the resurrection of Superman, right? Um, so sorry that I can't help but find the comparison, but it is what it is. But then Ben Affleck or the Batman in this film, representing who man is in this movie, uh, yeah, at this point is like, how can you not believe? Like now it is faith. Now I am running on faith because this is a man who I was about to kill. Uh, that changes, and then we're here fighting this monster that's technically a Kryptonian as well, that can cause all this damage. And if that moment would have gone any other way, this doomsday would have caused more damage, taking lives with him. But this Superman character, this, or not character, but this guy that I was about to, this alien that I was about to kill, that turns out is more, has more connection to humanity than I thought, then goes and sacrifices himself, you know. Um, and then to this point where, okay, we brought him back. He resurrects. We brought him back, right? And for a second there, you know, maybe I'm here trying to get him to like, yo, we're all trying to get him back to like realize who he is, whatever. Obviously, there's that moment, which was awesome. Let's just say this, like that fight between Superman and the League, just epic.
Yo,
Um,
I gotta say, I feel bad for Batman again because he gets his butt whooped
this
two
was,
different ways.
yeah, but this is way better. I'll say that much because I honestly they did him bogus in that other film.
No,
This
no,
one
like that's
actually is
what I'm
like,
saying. Well, like it's funny because, like, yeah, in this one, like he had more of a chance, I guess you could say.
well, yeah, because he had
But
the gauntlet. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
yeah, like it, like that literally saved his life. In the other movie, like he almost broke his jaw.
yeah, it was just, you know. Anyways,
Yeah, like some very
yeah.
that was very like sinister,
Well, one, he
like
gets the backhand. You know what I mean? He gets the
yeah,
back.
yeah.
Yeah, they did him bogus. It was bogus. Oh, I think I broke something. Anyways, um, uh, yeah, no. So hope one is you get to
Swoop
this
someone.
moment, and it's like then boom, Lois Lane is the key, whatever. So whole point is like between seeing the impossible being possible, and then like again when, and I'm not just talking about the Superman coming back from the dead. That's one thing. That's like the impossible being the impossible, or the impossible becoming possible. But then he's when he's having that conversation with Diana, where he's like, I had a dream, somewhat of a premonition, and I was right here, and Barry Allen was right there, and he tells me Lois Lane is the key, whatever. And so at this point, this is where faith and science and reason connect for him. You know what I mean?
Oh
Because
wow,
like
yeah, I get
you
true.
feel, because it's like I had the experience that I had with Superman in BVS, right? Like in that moment, but at the same time, before moments before that, he has that encounter with the Flash, the nightmare sequence. You know, so he's witnessing the future. Barry Allen is warning him from that future. So he is experiencing all these out of the out of the norm scenarios. A man who everything was about reason and logic and making sense of things. And here we are. So it's like he had to take that, and then that moment that he has, with Superman at the end, and this is now what's gearing him to bring the league together. That's what it was. This is why he was bringing the league together. And at that moment, he's already acting on faith because of that gut feeling at the end of BVS. As he told Diana, right? But we all know it was between what he just witnessed happen to Superman and him remembering what Flash warned him about after he had visions or that nightmare of the future that technically already exists, right? Um, so at this point, how can you not operate on faith? I have to, because none of that makes sense,
Hmm.
in the grander scheme of things, right? Um, but again, this is me just going off a story. Now, what I will say though, to say that it isn't that far fetched from the character, is because I, I'm pretty sure it's in the comics. But what I did just recently watch that kind of put brought that whole scene together for me was I was watching the Batman animated series, and um, there's this episode where it lets you actually see that Batman is a man of faith. It's kind of weird because he has this moment where he's saving he's the way he was going to save this mobster from doing the wrong thing was by pretty much taking the dude to church to talk to the priest who was his best friend to pretty much help him with his thing. And then it had a somewhat similar lines, like where like Alfred does the same thing, like asking asking Batman why he's doing what he's doing, and it was similar. It was like it's faith, Alfred. You know, you gotta have faith. Similar line, dude. Trust me. So that's why I was like, oh snap! And this is what I tell people, like, Zach, he pulls from so many things. It's like not even just the comics; it's also the animated series that came before it. Um, but anyways, yeah, it all connects though. It all does connect.
Yeah, that's it. It like yeah, it was very cool. Yeah, that movie
Um,
was very cool, man.
yeah, dude. But yeah, let's go ahead and wrap it up here. I actually got to get ready for work. Um, so uh, again, man, A plus for me, A plus from E Man the He Man, an A from ET. Pinpoint gave it a B plus, but you're looking at three A's to one B. you know, but either way, it was a high B. It's a good film, man. Overall, good film. Must watch if you haven't watched it, and if you watched it, I'm pretty sure, like us, you've watched it more than once. Um, and this film really does call for more to come. Like we need more. We need more. There's just no way. So, with that being said, find how and where um, you can get connected with people who are trying to push forward this idea with the studio, with the company that pretty much owns this property, and what we're the hashtag restore the Snyderverse. This is what it's about. Um, so you know,
Jeez, I think my camera's just famous for just just
I
shutting off early.
right,
Even
right, because it
though,
happened before, right?
yeah, man, what the heck, man?
Mm. So yeah, just find out, get involved if you can, because the more people that see that, or the more that the studios see that people actually are interested in this, the more reason it'll give them to actually do this, and I'm pretty sure if you watch this movie, you you end it thinking to yourself, what comes next? There's just no way. There's no way you watch this movie and think this wraps up the trilogy of Zack Snyder. Like, no way. There's just no way. That's the thought that comes to your mind. Um,
Definitely not.
you know what I mean? So, if you really want to see more of this, get involved, find out how, find out who, find out where and when. But this is happening all over different platforms, from Twitter to Facebook, even Instagram, Vero. There's
Watch it as many times as you can.
Yes, yes. Watch as many times as you can. There's people behind this movement that actually brought you this film. Um, that is trying to bring you more of this story arc that needs to be told, from restoring the Snyderverse, um, which means that let Zack Snyder give us the following films of Justice League Part Two and Part Three, um, letting Ben Affleck come back and finishing his Batman movie that he was supposed to do. So that's if you haven't seen it, it's hashtag Restore the Snyderverse. There's hashtag Make the Batfleck movie, and David Ayer hashtag release the air cut to get his actual version of Suicide Squad. Um, to fully embrace and connect this universe we were supposed to get um, of this story arc, and even beyond that, let's just say, beyond that, it's about letting these directors fully have their creative control over these projects that they're hired to do, and without the meddling of the studio, so you heard it here first. No, I'm playing. You haven't heard it here first. I know there's plenty of people who've touched on this. But for anyone who tuned in, I'm glad you tuned in. Anyone who's about to tune in, I hope you learned something. If you have any comments you want to leave them down below. Let us know your thoughts of this movie, what you rated, what you graded, what you thought about it, what else you could see coming from it. Um, and if you're with it, like I said, and any platform you're on, any social media platform, I'm sure you can find and connect with anybody who's for this whole new, I guess, movement or new push, and that's for AT&T and for HBO Max, and if Warner Brothers has any sense, but we don't really need them to. But if they want to, hashtag restore the Snyderverse, hashtag make the Bathroom movie, so forth and so forth. Get connected. ET, uh, E-Man, He-Man, thank you guys for hopping on.
Thank you for
I don't know if
having
you
me,
guys
bro.
have any final thoughts you want to share.
Uh, Restore the Snyderverse. Is my final thought.
Final thoughts.
Oh,
I would say,
ET, final thoughts? Like what you said? Any final thoughts? I was. And then he mutes it.
And he's gone, people. And he's gone.
Right. Oh man. Yeah, I gotta get ready for work here. So, um, again, guys, thank you for tuning in. Oh wait,
got
he's
you.
back. Are you back, ET? Any final thoughts?
Yeah, just gotta say, man. Well, the why we feel again tweaked. But final thoughts. Restore the Snyderverse. Give us Justice League 2, 3. Give us the Batfleck movie. Release the air cut. Just man, restore the Snyderverse. Give
Yes,
us what we
sir.
want.
Yes,
Stop
sir.
messing up, Warner Brothers. Or we're gonna come back to the studio and bully you. We did it to Sonic. We can do it to you too. Stop playing.
Not playing. So there you
Well,
go. There you guys have it. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse. Zack Snyder's Justice League on HBO Max. A+ film. You already know what it is. Peace out.
Peace.
peace.